Are Jared Goff and the Rams ready to keep this offense humming? Well, Aaron Donald is ready to blow it up, and Jalen Ramsey is ready to shut it down.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day.
Are you ready for Monday night? Monday Night Football, Bears, Rams, Monday at 8 Eastern on ESPN. DC and Helwani, the podcast.
You know, when you get to the final event on this Fight Island run, and it's this type of event with the biggest star in this region, Habib is big business in the Middle East. And I haven't saw him, but I've spoken to him. He's got a great setup in his room. He showed me today, got his bike, got his mats, treadmill, everything's ready to go.
Daniel Cormier and Ariel Helwani are DC and Helwani. Download and subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
1410 WING-AM.
Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
We are Dayton's ESPN radio station. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, everybody, welcome in. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station. I hope everyone has had a great day. We got so much to get into. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. I'm just going to rip it off. I'm opening up the show today telling you and the Cleveland Browns fans that the Cleveland Browns might have an opportunity that they may not be able to pass up on, and it might mean giving up on Baker Mayfield. I'm ripping the Band-Aid off. I'm going to do it. I've been one of the biggest Baker Mayfield supporters out there, and I still think that this team is capable of winning with Baker Mayfield. But here's the deal. Reports are starting to circulate now that the Atlanta Falcons are looking to shop Matt Ryan and Julio Jones at the deadline coming up in 2 weeks. And I got to thinking, yesterday I was adamant that, look, I think that, you go the rest of the year, you can make the playoffs with Baker. I'm adamant. They will make the playoffs with Baker Mayfield this year. A lot can happen. They could end up not making it. I've made this bold prediction before. But as of right now, the formula to winning can continue for the Browns. Like, they are 4-2, and they are talking as if they have not won a game this year. They are talking as if they are 1-4-1. They are talking as if their season is already over. They can win 10, 11, 12 games. I've predicted 12. I still see right now what they have, a lot of winnable games coming up. They have two more. They have, another one with Pittsburgh. They have another one with Baltimore. They have the Titans. So it's going to be a tough stretch, but they have a lot of winnable games on this. But again, what are you trying to accomplish big picture? If you're the Cleveland Browns, what is it that you are trying to accomplish big picture? Winning a Super Bowl, I hope. Right? Like, you can't skip steps. I mean, you went from 0-16, you improved the next year, you took a step back last year, you've taken a step forward this year, but there's still a big glaring hole, and it's unfortunate that this one big glaring hole is what is taking away from the talent that is all over this roster right now. If the Atlanta Falcons are willing to move on from Matt Ryan come the deadline, they're going to have to find a suitor that has plenty of cap space. There's not a lot of teams out there that have plenty of cap space. There's not a lot of teams out there who are desperate for a veteran quarterback who's 35 years old. That there's really not a whole lot of teams out there that feel like they are a Matt Ryan away from potentially making a Super Bowl run. Do I think that the Cleveland Browns are a Matt Ryan away from making a Super Bowl run? I'm not going to go as far as to say Super Bowl run, but I can definitely see the Cleveland Browns with Matt Ryan winning a playoff game or two, and who knows what happens if you get hot at the right time of the season. So I started looking at this roster for the Cleveland Browns, and the biggest frustration I have is that we keep talking about Baker Mayfield as if, man, we just got to give him time. We don't got to give him anything. I still think that you could win games with Baker Mayfield. I think you could win your 10, 11, 12 games this year. You could make the playoffs, but that's where it stops. Now, I sound like that sounds funny talking about the Cleveland Browns saying that making the playoffs, that's not good enough. For the Browns, you could sit there and say they should be fortunate to be even in the playoff conversation. But with the talent on this roster, you cannot sit here and tell me that this is a roster that should only be happy with making the playoffs. You have Jarvis Landry, you have Odell Beckham Jr., you have Nick Chubb, you have Kareem Hunt, you have Hooper. All right, you have so much talent. You have one of the best pass rushing defensive lines in football. Defense a little suspect, but you could address that at the deadline as well. So this roster is too talented for the Browns to sit here and say, well, let's just give Baker time. Baker's out of time. Baker's in year 3 of a 4-year contract, $32 million. All of it was guaranteed. You're not going to pick up that fifth-year option if you're Cleveland unless all of a sudden Baker snaps out of it, and I don't really see that happening anytime soon. I still think Baker has the tools to be a really, really good NFL quarterback. But what he does not have right now, he doesn't have the tools to do it at this exact moment. He also doesn't have time. So the Cleveland Browns, if you look at their roster, they have Nick Chubb for another year before they have to make the decision on whether or not they're going to give him a max extension. And we just saw, some top running backs in the league get some pretty big dollars. So we've seen that. So the Browns are going to have to make a decision there. But they just gave $5 million guaranteed, of course, to Kareem Hunt. So when you talk about the money that you allocate towards positions, we could talk about how they need to make sure they pay Nick Chubb, but they've already put $5 million towards the running back position in general. And we saw this past weekend, Kareem Hunt's a special player, but he was non-existent against that very good Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And you could say, well, yeah, Pittsburgh's a good team. You play them twice a year. You play the Ravens twice a year. You need to make sure you have guys that are going to be capable of handling that kind of pounding. We all know Nick Chubb can do that. You have Kareem Hunt for 2 more years. You have OBJ for 3 more years. You have Jarvis Landry for 2 more years. You have Conklin, who you just got this offseason, signed him to a 3-year deal. You have him for 2 years after this. You have Hooper on a 3-year contract, so you'll have him for 2 more years after this, or 3 more years after this was a 4-year total contract. Baker Mayfield, 1 year left, plus the option. They may not pick up that option. I bring all that up because those are all their impact players. And I brought up the offensive side because we all know Myles Garrett overall is the most dominant player on this roster. Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett, you can argue who's more dominant between the two. They're that good. But Cleveland's window to win is short, 2 years max. They have 2 years to win and win ball games. So you're probably saying, well, if you drafted a rookie in Baker Mayfield 2 years ago, you're not really going to look for a 35-year-old quarterback. You're trying to set yourself up for the future. The future is only 2 years. You're not going to extend OBJ. Jarvis Landry at this rate is going to want to get out and get bigger money elsewhere. Conklin, you look to keep him because he's an offensive lineman regardless of who your quarterback is. We've seen how important that is. Bengals fans take notes. All right, the run game, look, Nick Chubb's great. Are you really going to invest a lot of money into the running back position after you just gave $5 million to Kareem Hunt and there's running backs all over the place come free agency, not just next year, but the year after that as well? Not saying Nick Chubb's not valuable. I'm just saying he's easily replaceable. Right now, you see how talented this roster is. They have talent all over the place. And the one position that is keeping all of the offense from coming together is the quarterback position. I've defended Baker Mayfield for years. I want Baker Mayfield to work out. I could not believe how fun he was to watch in his rookie season. I was the biggest Baker Mayfield supporter his rookie year. But you know what? Do I still think that he's capable of playing in this league? Yes, I do. But he doesn't have time. I don't have time. You don't have time as Browns fans. I'm tired of the haters. I'm tired of it each week. We don't have time to allow him to settle in because the time to win is now. We just went down that roster of all the talented pieces that this offense has. Your time to win is short. 2-3 years max. I'm saying 2 years. Because if you continue at this pace, OBJ is going to create chaos and demand to get the hell out of here. Jarvis will follow suit. Nick Chubb won't want to re-sign. Conklin will be on the first plane out of Cleveland when his contract's up. You got to give a reason to get, you got to give this team a reason right now to start believing again. Because the reason this loss for Cleveland was such a big deal this past weekend is not because it was their second loss of the year. They're still 4-2. It's because it sucked the life out of them. It sucked the energy out of them. If they go and lose to Cincinnati, how embarrassing that would be. That's going to go right back to that Pittsburgh game when every little ounce of hope that Cleveland Browns team had, it was sucked right out of them. No energy, no confidence, none. And it's all because of the quarterback position. We know how much talent's on this offense, and they can't get going. OBJ, we talk about Hooper, we talk about OBJ, Jarvis Landry. Those are all dependent positions. They are dependent on what the quarterback does. So if the Atlanta Falcons are going to shop Matt Ryan come the trade deadline, Cleveland has the cap space. Cleveland has draft picks. Cleveland can include a first rounder. Because you could sit there and say Matt Ryan's not worth the first rounder. Matt Ryan is only worth a first round pick to Cleveland because Cleveland is living in a world where the years that matter are the next 2. Cleveland's going to be rebuilding in 2 years. And if they stick with Baker, it could be rebuilding in a year. You have 2 years to win. Matt Ryan's not worth the first-round pick to most teams. I said this about the Dallas Cowboys a few years ago. They gave up a first-round pick to get Amari Cooper. Everyone made fun of the Dallas Cowboys. I said Amari Cooper's not really worth a first-round pick, but he was because of the dire situation that the Cowboys were in, desperately needing a weapon. The Browns desperately need a quarterback. Matt Ryan's not Matt Ryan's not worth the first-round pick, but the need and desire for a quarterback right now for Cleveland, that's the desire. That's the need. That's where the first-round pick comes into play. Figure it out, Cleveland. Do it now. I've defended Baker forever. I want Baker Mayfield to work out. But I don't want Baker Mayfield to work out 3 years from now, a year after everyone has left and departed, and there's been this big dramatic fallout, all because they were trying to wait for one player to catch up with everybody else. And by the time he catches up, everyone else is going to be gone. 2 years to win. Matt Ryan has maybe 2 more years of quality football left. Go all in. Cleveland, go all in for the next 2 years and figure it out after that. Because if you try to sit there and get rid of all of this talent just to give Baker time to figure it out, by the time he figures it out, he won't have any talent around him, and then we're right back to square one here in 2 seasons. If I'm the Cleveland Browns, I'm on the phone now. I don't care. It's very aggressive. It's very drastic. But the Cleveland Browns, we got to stop doing this every week, just hoping that he figures it out. You're wasting the talent of OBJ. You're wasting Jarvis. You're wasting Chubb. You're wasting Kareem Hunt. You're wasting Hooper. You're wasting Myles Garrett on the defensive side. Ward, when healthy, you're wasting that. The Browns have to figure it out because they're 4-2, and they're still going to win games this year. But is winning 9, 10, 11, 12 games this year and getting blown out in the first round of the playoffs worth it? If the next couple of years, all these players are demanding to get the hell out because OBJ says, I want a quarterback that can actually get me the ball. We made fun of Eli Manning. Eli Manning found a way to get him the ball. Andy Dalton. I made fun of Andy Dalton. AJ Green had a hell of a career in Cincinnati, putting up yardage playing with Andy Dalton. I'm a Baker Mayfield guy, but I'm not a Baker Mayfield guy this exact second, considering the circumstances of how desperate this team is for a quarterback. 457-9464 Browns fans, I want to hear from you. I know it's crazy. It's drastic. Baker Mayfield, it doesn't mean you got to trade Baker, but you got to move on from Baker as the starter for this year and for next year. And for anyone out there that wants to bring up Case Keenum, he's not it. He's not it. Case Keenum is not going to take this team where they need to go. You put Matt Ryan with this offensive line, with this run game, with those wide receivers, Bob, I really, truly, 1,000,000% believe that they can compete with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe they can compete with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not saying that they would be better than those two teams, but damn it, I would be way more confident about the Browns' chances of going up against Pittsburgh and Baltimore, having a quarterback who knows what the hell he's doing with actual talent. Cleveland, go get Matt Ryan. If they're willing to part ways with him, if you have to give up a first rounder, it's drastic, do it. You have 2 years to win. Figure it out. I don't think you were expecting that today, Kev, but that's where I'm at.
Definitely not. We got Bob from Riverside on the line.
Bob, welcome in, sir. How are you?
Man, I would probably fall out of my chair if I wasn't driving. I didn't think I'd ever hear that from you, Justin.
I'm admitting I'm wrong.
But I will say this. I agree with you 1,000,000%. All you have to do for Browns fans who don't agree with you is look south at the Cincinnati Bengals 5 straight years in the playoffs. And I'm sorry, Andy Dalton was not the guy. He was a great regular season guy, but when it came to the playoffs, they had enough talent to go beyond that. He just couldn't do it. And you look at, what happened with, and I know Ezekiel is fumbled and all that stuff. That was primetime Andy. When the lights are on, he can't get it done. 1 o'clock Andy is awesome. Primetime Andy or playoff Andy can't get it done. That quarterback position is so important. You got to have the right quarterback if you're going to get over the hump. And like you said, you can't be wasting no talent. That's what the Bengals did. Well, Andy keeps getting us to the playoffs. Yeah, Andy got us to the playoffs, and where did that get us? Well, we're rebuilding now. So you're right. You can't wait. And if you can pull the trigger on somebody like Ryan, then you got to do it.
Yeah, and like I said, for this situation, I think it's very important that they are aggressive with this because let me ask you this. Like, if they get Matt Ryan with these weapons, who, by the way, Matt Ryan was just named NFC Player of the Week. How good do you think this Cleveland offense? They automatically become night and day. I mean, it's a night and day difference in the offense. Having a quarterback that's capable of getting them not just the ball in short yardage situations, but obviously opening the game up over the top. I mean, this offense would take off if they got Matt Ryan, who I don't think is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but he's head and shoulders better than Baker Mayfield.
Well, he's head and shoulders above a lot of them. Wasn't he already in a Super Bowl? So
he's in the Super Bowl, former MVP. He's just 35 years old.
Absolutely. And 35 in the NFL now, that's like 30. So you can't really even count that anymore. But, a guy like Matt Ryan could absolutely put this team over the top. There's no excuse for the way the Browns play, up and down, up and down, up and down. And then I just heard something today that, most of Baker's wins have come against the Bengals, a rebuilding Bengals team. So that tells you all you need to know right there. You got too much talent to be fooling around. And again, in the NFL, you can't fool around. When you got to strike while the iron is hot. Right now, they got enough talent. They got enough players where they need to get it done. So I can't, man, I am like 1,000% behind you, Justin.
It doesn't happen
We need to mark
often.
this day down, man.
It doesn't have. Kevin already wrote down the day and time and everything that I'm saying all this. But
There we
like,
go.
I'm a Baker fan. Like, so for instance, like Joe Burrow, for him, it's like, okay, you got to be patient with Joe Burrow. He's a rookie. There's no rush to the Bengals aren't making the playoffs this year. There's no rush to getting immediate results from him right away. Baker, there is a rush right now because their playoff and their Super Bowl hopes depend on him. And let's be clear, I hate even using the word Super Bowl because those chances are non-existent as long as he's the quarterback right now.
Yeah. So you got to do what you need to do, man. I agree. You are an aggressive guy, though. I will say that. So yeah, I go for that, man. I'm right behind you. All right, guys. Nice talking to you, bro.
Hey, great hearing from you. Take care, man. All right. Your rebuttal is what? Matty Ice in Cleveland, baby.
What's the Browns' current record?
4-2.
So you ready to bail right now?
I'm not bailing because I'm not moving on from. I'm bailing on
Baker.
Baker will stay on this roster. But you have to. You like these. Look at the circumstance. Look, I just gave you that roster, and they only have them for a good 2 to 3 more years, Kev. Like this roster, this Browns team right now has 2 years to capitalize on this talent. And I don't even think they have. If Baker Mayfield's the quarterback, they don't have 2 years because OBJ is going to lose patience eventually. And for everyone that's going to call him a locker room cancer, I'm a Browns fan. I will not blame him one bit. OBJ couldn't wait to get to Cleveland because of the Baker Mayfield we saw that rookie year. Kev, he threw 27 times. He was dominant his rookie year, and he had way less talent. OBJ couldn't wait to get to Cleveland because of that right there. He thought that's the quarterback I was going to be playing with. That quarterback has never existed, not even once since OBJ has been here. I'm bashing Baker to a point, but I'm saying I think the Browns could win with him, but they need to win. He needs to be playing at a high enough level that he's not capable of right now, and this team is desperate. You can't waste all this talent. You cannot sit here and waste all of this talent while you're trying to squeeze a square peg into a round hole. Baker's a good quality quarterback. You can win games with him, but you're not going any further than where you are right now. Matt Ryan will take him to that next level. And he's available. They have the cap space. They have the pieces to move around. Do it. Cleveland, go all in because you have 2 years. You're going to wait 2 years for Baker to develop, and let's say he finally just gets it next year, the year after. Everyone's gone after that, and now you've wasted everyone's talent in the last couple of years. You wasted last year. Don't waste this entire season. 4-2 is great, but that shows you the talent that's there. It shows you that there's an opportunity.
So he has nothing to do with these victories.
Who?
Baker.
No, I told you could win with him. You can win with him, but you're not going to win the games that count. Matt Ryan is going to be the difference between winning your 9, 10, 11 games.
Give me the games that count.
What do you mean the games?
Which games count?
They all count.
No, I'm just saying, which games are you talking about that count?
Dude, like it's not about the games. I don't get what you're asking.
No, I'm saying which game you said they're not going to win the games that count. So are
Pittsburgh, Baltimore. The Titans. I'm worried about the Titans coming.
So
up.
they split.
Not worried about the Raiders. I don't care what anyone says.
They split with the Steelers last year. They split with the Ravens last year.
We all know. First of all, that first win against Baltimore, I don't put any stock into that. That was great for my bragging purposes, but let's be clear. Where was that Cleveland team the rest of the year? Where was that Baltimore team the rest of the year? The thing is, you can't sit there every week and just hope that perfect storm exists. Like Matt Ryan, you don't have to hope that the perfect storm exists. You know what he brings to the table, and you know what the weapons around him can do.
So you want to bring in the 35-year-old quarterback who was the quarterback of a team that blew the biggest lead in the Super Bowl.
There was a quarterback that Matt Ryan had one hell of a first half, and then they never went back to the run. They continue to have him continue to throw in those high leverage situations. I'm sorry, I'm not putting that all on him. Coaching had a lot to do with that. Coaching had a lot to do with that. So
he was quarterbacking, throwing the ball, something that y'all want Baker to do, and he was not capable of bringing it home.
I know you ain't trying to sit here and defend
I'm just
Baker.
saying.
You watched the same game I did this past Sunday, and I didn't drink a lick of alcohol, and I'm assuming you didn't either. That's crazy to me. I'm sitting here like this show is taking a weird turn. I'm ripping Baker. You're defending Baker.
I am not on the Matty Ice train, and definitely not a first round pick train.
Again, you're making too much of who the trade is for versus the circumstance that they are in.
Well,
right
you
now.
have to make about who it's for because that's
Matt Ryan's
you're
good.
going with him.
But you're Matt Ryan away from that offense competing with the Steelers and the Ravens.
So the talent that Matt Ryan currently has is better than the talent that is on the Browns.
That's the biggest. Oh my God! I need to call the funny bone to get you a stand up this weekend. That is not even close to being true.
Julio Jones is better than OBJ.
And why is Julio? If Julio Jones had Baker Mayfield at quarterback, would Julio be Julio?
Julio Jones is better than him.
If Julio had OBJ, if Julio had Baker Mayfield, would he look like Julio?
I have no idea.
You wouldn't say Julio. You'd say, who is that? That's what you'd be saying.
Calvin Ridley is better than.
Would Calvin Ridley be Calvin Ridley with
Calvin
Baker
Ridley
Mayfield?
is better than than Jarvis. Hooper was just in Atlanta.
Switch quarterbacks. How good do those receivers look?
I don't know.
We do know.
We don't know. So the talent that he's playing with, he's not getting it done either. So you're going to bring
defense.
him.
That's the problem. Their offensive line that's banged up. Todd Gurley's not bringing nothing to the table. That has nothing to do with the struggles in Atlanta right now.
Yeah, I'm
sure
that
the organization's moved on from the head coach. They moved on from the general manager. They are sniffing out a rebuild completely.
Yeah,
that's all on Matty Ice.
Oh, but when the quarterbacks for the Bengals start losing, you blame Andy Dalton and everything like that. I'm just saying that, he has a lot of weapons currently.
Bengals fans will agree with me on this. That
there's
the Browns are in a situation similar to Cincinnati.
Scoreless. Several fourth quarters where Matty Ice goes scoreless in the fourth quarter.
Offensive line, head coach.
I'm just saying I'm not with the Matt Ryan pool and definitely not a first round pick pool. Definitely not a first round pick.
457-9464. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here. We are live on Facebook. Head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show. I haven't had anything to drink today. I tell you what I did have. I had a salad for lunch. I'm starving. I'm not thinking clearly. I think that's the problem. But when I heard right away the report that I came across today that the Falcons were going to be shopping Matt Ryan come the trade deadline, I right away thought of Cleveland because I thought, hey, next offseason, the Browns should definitely pull the trigger on that. But there's no better time than now because why waste another whole season? Again, you're going to win games with Baker Mayfield this year. You'll be fine with Baker Mayfield this year. You'll be fine with Baker this year. But again, this roster is too good to sit there and say, well, we just hope we make the playoffs. You can't just say we just hope we make the playoffs and whatever happens. That was the Cincinnati Reds approach. Well, we just hope we make the playoffs. And I guess now that we're in the playoffs, who cares, right? Like that's not good. This roster's too good to have that mentality. Let's go to Charlie. Charlie in Dayton. What's up, man?
I'm so excited about your enthusiasm today.
I'm a little tired though, man. I'm tired. I feel like I don't have it today. I'm depressed today.
Why? What happened?
Because I'm admitting I'm wrong after all these years. And Kenner, there's one thing that Kenner hates more than anything: I hate eating salads, and I hate admitting I'm wrong. And I'm doing both today.
Because you don't think Baker has what it takes?
I thought everyone had been telling me that, and then I'm saying it today, and I have so many people telling me I'm wrong. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Okay. You know I'm a well-documented Bengals fan.
You carry your card with you everywhere you go. I agree.
I'm wearing Bengals gym shorts and a Bengals hoodie right now. I'd take Baker over Matt Ryan.
Oh, God, I need to just call off for the rest of the show. I can't do this for 2.5 hours today.
Listen, okay, look at the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's just make a point real quick. Okay? You know the names, Carlos Dunlap and A.J. Green, don't you?
Yes.
Those are Pro Bowl guys.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Are they any good this year?
Oh, they're great.
They're not very good this year.
I blame the quarterback.
He's not a starter no more. He's old. I would much rather roll the dice on Baker Mayfield. It's weird to say. Then, if anything, I would play Case Keenum. I wouldn't trade any of your drafts for Matt Ryan. Definitely not your number one. Your number one because, you could probably leverage that into a quarterback.
Let's be clear here about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan right now, with Dak Prescott out for the year, amongst active quarterbacks, Matt Ryan has more passing yards than anyone in the league this year. He has one of the highest quarterback ratings in the league this year. He has 9 touchdowns. And he's been sacked 10 times. Look, and the team's on a win. So he's not a winner. Is Joe Burrow a winner? 1-4-1. Does that sound like a winner?
We don't know.
No, we do know, because if you're basing it off a record, then there we go. then Joe Burrow's a big, fat, freaking loser, man. How about his school? He comes from a cheating LSU school, by the way. Did you see that? Big, fat cheater.
What?
Oh, yeah. They self-imposed, they had the self-imposed sanctions and all this because they paid someone's dad and all this. Oh, yeah, that's quite – yeah, you guys a loser. Because the 1-4-1. You see what you did? I was calm.
Hey, time out. We're having a come to Jesus moment about you with the Browns.
Say a couple more Hail Marys for me, would you?
You're dragging Joe Burrow through the mud right now, and I don't appreciate that. Hey, hold on. Hey, would you take Matt Stafford over Baker Mayfield?
Damn, that's a good one. Oh, yes, because, I think. Yes, I really do. With this offensive line and with the talent, yes.
Matty Ice is no better than Matt Stafford. They're both, I don't know. I just think those guys are, but
let me get this straight, because you Bengals fans do this all the time. So Joe Burrow's greatness was defined by he had 3 straight games of 300-plus passing yards. Matt Ryan has more passing yards than anyone else in the league. And 35. I don't care if he's a rookie. That means nothing. That literally means absolutely. It's a passing league. And when you drop back 40-plus times, I would hope you could throw it 300 times. That's all I'm going to – 300 yards on me. So, you can't sit there and say Joe Burrow's great because of the yards he has, and then when I bring up Matt Ryan, who has more passing yards than anyone actively in the league right now this season, that doesn't mean anything.
He's old, Justin.
What?
He's an old dude. He's
35 years old, and he's still playing well. What do you mean? Who cares about his age right now? The Browns have a 2-year window to win. He's 35. You only need a year or 2 years of high-quality football from him. Then this Browns team's blowing everything up. If they stick with Baker this year, they're going to be blowing it up come this offseason.
Why is it only a 2-year window? Because of OBJ?
No, OBJ, Jarvis, Conklin, Hooper, Chubb, they have decisions to make on all of these guys in the next couple of years. They're not going to be able to keep all of them.
OBJ does not serve the drink in Cleveland. You guys are a running team. It's fine. You got blowed up by the
You don't go get receiver like OBJ to be a running team. They went to get OBJ because they thought that Baker was going to build on what he did his rookie year. But, Charlie, anything else? I'm not rushing you out. I just got to get to other callers. That's all.
Well, hey, you guys will be fine, man. You're going to go to the playoffs. It's going to be nice. 4-2. Just need to chill out.
Thank you, Bengals fan, Charlie. I'll keep that in mind. Take care, man.
Hey.
We got an A, but we cut him off. Guillotine. 457-9464. David Shaw, the calculator over here. He's throwing out QBR in the first. First of all, David, I threw out the QBR and all this stuff. I threw out the QBR, but the quarter. I touched on Baker's struggles last week heading into the Steelers game, man. Doug Toby said, "Eat some crow." Okay, and I'm it's the same crow the Bengals fans will be eating about Joe Burrow here in no time. So I don't know. Okay. Sean Boland says Julio and Calvin is better than OBJ Jarvis. Maybe you should start drinking. I'm definitely going to start drinking. And by the way, again, you have Matt Ryan. It's easier to look as good as they do when you have a Matt Ryan versus how you look when you have a Baker Mayfield. It's not that hard to figure out. It's really not that hard. Receivers don't look good if they don't have good quarterbacks, period. Oh, my bad, David Shaw. He said he's supporting my take. Read it. I'm just used to you disagreeing, David. That's all. All right, who we got? 457-94.
We got Jerry.
I need a beer. Jerry, welcome.
No, Justin Kinner, you are absolutely 1,000,000% correct today.
If you agree with me, that's definitely why I have to drink, Jerry.
You are a million. And Kev Nash, leave Justin alone, man. He's finally seen the light. Yeah. Don't be sitting there trying to change your take just to try and get under Justin's skin. Come on, man.
He didn't hear a word you said. He's doing something real quick. You're going to have to repeat that because I want him to hear it when he gets back on here. So that
because he's just trying to get under your skin, man. That's all he's trying to do. Tell me when he's back on. I'll tell him.
I will. But all right, what do you got?
But you're 1,000,000% right. Here's the thing about Matt Ryan. I mean, keep in mind, Julio Jones has been hurt a lot this year. So he hasn't even had Julio most of the year. He's still throwing those numbers up, the passing yards and everything. Atlanta's problem is not Matt Ryan. Atlanta's problem is their leaky defense. Let's just be honest. I think you're 100% right. He's a complete upgrade from Baker. You're absolutely right that you only have a 2 or 3 year window. And what you're most right about is Baker can win you 9 or 10 games, but he can't beat the teams you need to beat. It's not that which games matter, is which teams can he beat. And he can't beat Baltimore. He can't beat Pittsburgh. He can't beat Kansas City. He can't beat Tennessee. And you're going to have to beat those teams to win it all. Let's just be honest. Right?
No, that's where my whole point was. It was about all of that, is that they are capable of winning with Baker at quarterback, but when they need, like, for instance, this past weekend, I've been asking that question. Okay, if a defense takes the run game from Cleveland away, that's their strength. If they take the run game away from Cleveland, what's the next move? Because if you take the run game away from Kansas City, and the teams have done that lately, they don't look as sharp, but Patrick Mahomes is good enough to put them over the hump. And I'm not trying to say Baker needs to be Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes just made $500 million for 10, 13 plus years. So, there is only one Patrick Mahomes, but you see my point. Teams who are good enough to be able to still play at a high level, even when the run game's taken away. The Browns are they are a run game only. That is it. Nothing else. You add Matt Ryan into the mix, they're a lot more versatile.
Yeah, because again, he can throw it, like you said. What Cleveland needs is a quarterback who can take the top off of defense, which is what I've been saying is what Baker can't do. Is he can't throw outside the numbers, and he's not accurate. He's got a big arm, but he's not accurate with it, right? So that's exactly what your team needs, because right now you're playing teams. The good teams are going to put 7-8 guys in the box, and they're going to say you're not running the football. Period. And so, you have to have a plan B. And right now, Baker's plan B, he can throw over the middle okay, short and intermediate, but he can't accurately put it deep. So you're 100% right, 1,000,000% right. Unless they just want to treat their fans to a 9-7, 10-6, go to the playoffs, rah, 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 which, again, is an improvement, don't get me wrong. As a Raider fan, I'll take that from my team this year. But if you really want a chance to win it all, you need a big-time quarterback. You really do. And Kev Nash just needs to stop trying to get underneath your skin.
That's what he does. Tell him, Jerry. I've always thought you were a smart man, Jerry.
He's trying to get under Justin's skin, man. Now, he's right. You've been sitting there along with me telling him that he's been wrong about Baker this whole time. Now he finally sees the light, and you're trying to flip the script on him. Come on, Kevin.
I'm not flipping the script. When he said first-round pick for Matt Ryan, that's what I disagree with. I totally disagree with giving up a first-round pick for him.
But what first-round
pick? The situation makes it that way. It's not like
what first-round pick, Kevin Nash, is going to get the Browns over the top to win a Super Bowl in the next 10 years.
Why would you give up a first-round pick for somebody that they potentially could cut in the offseason and you can get them for the price that you want, and also keep that first-round pick to help build your team even more?
Because, like Justin says, you got to win now. If your goal is to win it all, right?
Why waste another whole second half of the season?
Y'all the reason why Las Vegas keep building more buildings, man.
You're already in position to get a home game in the playoffs, right? If you can go 12-4 or 11-5, you can get yourself a home game in the playoffs, and you're halfway there at that point.
Man, do organizations like the New England Patriots give up first-round picks like that?
Really?
Do the Pittsburgh Steelers give up first-round picks like that?
Those are good organizations. The Browns are not a good organization, and they are in a situation.
This would be another one of those bonehead moves.
It would not be a bonehead move to go get a quarterback to put with good offensive talent. Yes, because you are playing for the next 2 years, and 2 years later you're going to be rebuilding in 2 years. Figure it out then.
You know what? I hope they do it for your sake.
And I hope Claypool breaks his leg this weekend. How about that? I hope that your team gets blown out.
What was that?
Go Titans. You know what? I was wrong about the Titans. They're the best team
You've been wrong a lot.
Oh, damn it. I'm making a show of it. My goodness.
Hey, Kevin Nash, how many organizations got Bill Belichick at coach?
Well, the Browns used to.
I mean, come on, man.
Okay, the Ravens would. Ravens don't make it. Hey, those are the winning organizations. They don't make rash decisions like that. When they realized that Flacco wasn't working out, they drafted a quarterback and dumped Flacco. Okay, you guys are saying that Baker's not the guy. Okay, then make an adjustment. Don't give up a first-round pick.
You don't have time to make an adjustment. You don't have time to make an adjustment.
Y'all say y'all don't have time.
No, common sense. Look at the damn numbers. They only have these guys for 2 more years, if that. And Cleveland's not. I don't trust the organization to go out there and get.
So you trust them to give up a first-round pick
to get Matt Ryan, who you know will come in, who's balling out this year, even on a bad team, who'll come to a good team? Yes.
Hey, Kev Nash. Who's got more talent on the offensive side of the ball this year than Cleveland? Name the teams. Outside of quarterback, name the teams that have more talent than Cleveland on the offensive side of the ball.
I would say the Falcons have more offensive talent.
Oh, Jesus.
With Julio being hurt all the time?
Yeah, that offensive line. Gurley not being Gurley.
Come on, Kevin Nash.
What's up, Kev?
What you been drinking today, man? Come on. All right, name another one.
No, we're out of time. We missed this, but Jared, take care. I always knew you were smart.
I'm on your side with this one, Justin. You're right.
I'm going to drink after the next 2.5 hours. There you go. All right, folks, we'll be back in a moment. 457-9464. I see Jeff and Adam and a couple guys on hold. Facebook's blowing up. We'll get to that feed coming up here in just a moment. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with a high near 68. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with patchy fog, a low around 58. And tomorrow will be mostly sunny and hazy with a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces around your home, office, or commercial property. Crack filling, asphalt sealing, and parking lot striping. Find us at culletsealcoating.com.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is waiting for the previews to start in a movie theater.
Hey, you want anything? Popcorn? Soda? No, nothing.
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
After falling to the Los Angeles Lakers in the 1982 NBA Finals, the 76ers needed to find the right player to build the ultimate winning team. In September of '82, they acquired restricted free agent Moses Malone. They went on to rack up a 65-17 regular season record and followed that up with a 12-1 postseason record. Malone won the regular season and NBA Finals MVP award.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Adding a leader you need right when you need them. That's how sports teams get ahead and how your business can too. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interest, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Roosters would like to thank all of our loyal guests and all the loyal Buckeye fans for your support this year. Because of you, we've been able to stay open and keep our award-winning team employed. Our team members go above and beyond and are dedicated to providing you and your family the safest dining experience possible while still providing a fun, casual atmosphere to relax, laugh, and enjoy our award-winning food. Roosters, the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Interested in helping Dayton students succeed? Don't miss the Dayton Public Schools Drive-Through Career Fair on Thursday, October 22nd between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. at Welcome Stadium. Masks are required. See the full list of positions and apply now at DaytonPublic.com.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from The Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro Painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I have had CertaPro Painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State-themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro Painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time. They get the job done right and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
I'm attorney David Brannon, and I'm running for Montgomery County Probate Court Judge on November 3rd. If you ever get married, claim an inheritance, or care for aging parents, you may find yourself in need of the probate court. Over the past 15 years, I've worked hard to protect those in need and to get the right answers for families in probate court. I am also certified by the Ohio State Bar Association as a specialist in probate law. I understand that families need speedy and fair decisions from the probate court. I have the dedication and compassion to be there for your family. So please vote for me, David Brannon, November 3rd. I am David Brannon, and I approve this message.
Allstate now has deeper savings, and deeper savings require deep thoughts and a deep voice, like mine. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise, and save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. As someone once said, saving today is money tomorrow. That's deep.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
What's hot for business this week at Staples?
Small prices, big savings.
Help your business go big with amazing prices on everything you need to pack and ship.
Right now at Staples, save 20% on UPS expedited shipping services. Plus, save up to 30% on select shipping supplies.
Shop in-store or get same-day delivery through Instacart and save big at Staples.
Ends 10/31 while supplies last. In-store only. See store for details. Instacart fees, taxes, and/or tips may apply. Delivery subject to availability. Additional terms apply.
We're out there, building, lifting. We don't have time to deal with delicate clothes. We need canvas work gear, one of the strongest fabrics around. Carhartt is known for it, and it's at Boot Barn. Everything from flame-resistant canvas pants built to last, to the canvas jacket proudly made in the USA. Boot Barn carries over 500 styles of Carhartt work gear, because we need durability. Boot Barn Work. Everything you need, no fluff.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contact us to activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
Try Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that blow the butterscotch out of your grandma's bowl. Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
Follow ESPN 1410 Wing AM on Facebook to watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Listen, stream, and now watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Get to some college football stuff coming up here around the corner. You know, yesterday, Kevin and I were talking about how, you know, it's interesting when Ohio State blows out Penn State. Penn State drops back 5, 6, 7 spots in the rankings. When Ohio State beats Wisconsin, they drop back 5, 6, 7 spots in the rankings. When Alabama beats Georgia, they drop back 1 spot. So we're going to talk about the perception of the Big Ten versus the perception of the SEC and some of the other conferences around college football. We'll get into that coming up here in hour number 2. So if you're just tuning in, I'm Justin Kinner. Kev Nash opened up with, again, reports out there surfacing that the Falcons could be interested in shipping Matt Ryan, a former MVP quarterback, led the Falcons to a Super Bowl, didn't win a Super Bowl. Everyone knows the 28-3 collapse, the famous 28-3 collapse that Matt Ryan and the Falcons had against the Patriots. But go on to discuss, like, you look at this Browns team at 4-2. It's interesting. I'm listening to the press conferences today, and then Baker saying, I'm sick of losing. OBJ, I'm sick of losing. It's strange to me that you're hearing this kind of talk from guys who are on a 4-2 team, who have done more winning this year than they have in any other year to start the year. And it's weird. They're 4-2, and you would think that they're 0-6. Baker Mayfield goes on to say that exact same thing. He goes, it doesn't feel like we're 4-2. It feels like we're 0-6. Last week we as fans, non-Browns fans and Browns fans, all felt like, man, this Browns team, there's enough chatter, there's enough movement that it felt like the Steelers and Browns were one of the biggest games in the NFL last weekend. And let's be clear, it was. Yeah. Just because the Browns didn't show up and put up any ounce of fight doesn't mean that it wasn't one of the biggest games of the week. But they didn't show up. And I think the reason that the Browns feel like this is a much bigger loss than what it actually is in the big scheme of things is because they know that deep down, you could win your 10, 11, 12 games, but deep down that there's still that 50-mile-long gap between where they are and the top two teams are in this division. And I think that's the reality that's sinking in. And that same reality exists up top in that front office. And if Matt Ryan's available come the trade deadline, I think the Browns would be stupid not to make an attempt to go get Matt Ryan, because you only have this talent for a short amount of time. This is a super talented roster. I mean, we can't sit here and say that it's not talented, but then talk about how all the expectations are for this team to win. You can't have expectations to win if you don't have talent. So that's the whole purpose of all of this, is the one position that is really keeping everything from just gelling together perfectly. It's the quarterback position, because they got their coach, they got their offensive line, they got depth at wide receiver, they got one hell of a running game, they got a good pass rush, they got a couple decent secondary guys. Like, this isn't anywhere close to being a typical Cleveland team. And Matt Ryan can take him to that next level. You could win with Baker. You're going to win 10, 11 games with Baker. I said 12. I think 11 is now more realistic, but I'm sticking to my 12. I ain't bouncing off of that because I still think that's possible too. But I think you can get to your 11, 12 wins with Baker, because Baker's not going to be why you get there. The run game is. But if you can get to that 12-win mark with Matt Ryan, with the run game, and now the new element of the passing game, now Cleveland becomes way more dangerous. And I've been defending Baker for years. And I don't think he's the worst thing in the world by any means, but I do think the Browns don't have time for him to figure it out. They need a quarterback. They need a guy that's going to drive this bus in the right direction. And that's not Baker at this moment. Let's go to the phones. We got Adam. Adam, welcome in, sir. How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing, man?
Good.
Listen to you and hear it every day. I love the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I just want to get a question out of you while you're on your Baker kick. You could pick today for the future who you taking, Baker or Burrow?
Baker or Burrow?
Yeah.
I'll take Baker.
Baker?
Yes, and I say that because why? Now, here's why. I'm not sold on Burrow. And the reason I'm not sold on Burrow is because I learned that from my guy Baker. Burrow looked a million times better his rookie year than what Joe Burrow has. And look at how far off Baker has fallen off since then. So, and it's Baker Mayfield has the same excuses that Joe Burrow does. Bad organization, bad coaching, no weapons around. Actually, Baker does have weapons around him. I'm just not confident. I mean, who's to say that, everyone keeps saying how good and impressive he looks. I'm not going there. I learned from Baker. It doesn't matter how good you look your rookie year. So I'm going to stick with Baker.
That's a good point. All right, man. I just wanted to see what you had to say.
Oh, that's it. I thought you were going to kill me or something. I didn't think you would like that answer. No.
I can't. I'm a lifelong Bengals fan. I can't say much to anybody about anything. So.
Well, to be fair, with the way if Baker has another performance like he did last week, which who's to say that it won't, then I'll say Joe Burrow. I'll say Joe Burrow. But let's be clear, Joe Burrow hasn't played Baltimore. Joe Burrow has not played the Steelers yet, too. And we all saw how bad he looked against Baltimore. So if we're going to sit here and say Baker's bad because he looked so bad against Pittsburgh, well, Burrow looked even worse against Baltimore, and he still has 2 with Pittsburgh and another with Baltimore as well. So I don't know. It's tough to say right now. Bengals fans will say it's easy. It's Joe Burrow. It's not that easy because Baker looked way better his rookie year than Joe Burrow does his, and we all seen the gap of where Baker is now to where he was his rookie year.
Yep, you make some good points, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You guys have a good rest of your show, man.
You too, Adam. Man. Take care. See, we don't have enough money to pay callers, but if we did, he would definitely get a raise.
We're giving away $1,000 every day.
6 a.m., 18 times a day. Be listening. Brian Schwederman says, when is Nick Chubb getting back? That two-headed monster in the backfield changes the game. I think after the Raiders game. After the bye week, and they have that bye week coming up. They have the Bengals coming up, then the Raiders bye week. I think they got the Titans waiting for them after that bye week. Let me ask you this: does Chubb make a difference against Pittsburgh?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
That particular game. That, I don't want it to sound like, oh man, it doesn't matter, man. We just roughshod over you guys. I don't want it to sound like that. I just think like the way the aggressiveness of the defense came in. I mean, there was nowhere to go. You know what I'm saying? We could say like, oh man, Kareem Hunt got shut down. Well, there was nowhere to go. Like it wasn't his fault. You know, if there's not a hole there, there's not a hole there. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give a lot of credit to the Steelers front seven for blowing up the plays, you know? So I don't necessarily believe like he would have made a difference. Maybe he got a couple more yards because he's more of a power back, but a running back needs a hole to hit.
That offensive line was straight garbage this past Sunday. Like they were bad. Yes, Steelers were good, but that offensive line was bad. Like, yes, we're ripping Baker because we only look at his box score, but keep in mind, there's a reason he was making, and again, his biggest knock is he makes too quick decisions. He does not look at the field. Let's be clear, he didn't have much time. I told you, Russell Wilson and Baker Mayfield they average the most amount of time from the time the ball is snapped until the ball is released. They average 2.7 seconds from the time the ball is snapped to the time the ball is released. That is the most time for quarterbacks in the NFL, at least heading into that Pittsburgh game. I haven't checked to see what it is since then, but I would have to think it was significantly less after this past weekend. Baker had I think he threw that damn interception to Fitzpatrick in like literally like maybe 0.2 seconds. I mean, it was almost like he said, here, I don't want this anymore. Take it. That's what that looked like as far as that goes. Let's go to Jeff. Jeff, you're up. How are you, sir?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
Good.
Man, Justin, you're head on, man. I mean, Baker Mayfield.
You would get a raise too. If we had money, you'd get paid too. Good start.
Dude, I wasn't that true. I didn't jump the door in the draft. I didn't. And then, it was rookie season. I'm thinking, maybe I was wrong. But he's still making the same mistakes that he made when he was a rookie. It's just like he doesn't get it. And the thing is, when he has bad games, that's all you have to do to beat Cleveland right now. And Pittsburgh figured it out. You stop the run and you make Baker Mayfield win you a game, you're done.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I know when people say, well, if they figured it out, watch the tape. If you stop the run, you beat Cleveland. I think every team's goal defensively, every game is to stop the run. Stopping the run's not easy. Pittsburgh's just that good. Their front line and their linebackers, of course, they're without Bush moving forward. No, I definitely agree with you. If the run game's taken away, Cleveland has no shot. They have absolutely zero shot. Zero. I mean, I agree with you. Zero. But again, it's not easy to take the run away. There's not a lot of teams out there who are capable of just suffocating the run the way you saw Pittsburgh do this past weekend.
And I hate to say this, being a Browns fan, but after that show I watched on Sunday, Pittsburgh's the best team in the division. They'll beat Baltimore just simply off quarterback play.
When do they? I got to find out when they play. Hold on, I'm going to look that up real quick because I cannot remember when Pittsburgh and Baltimore play. But I'm really looking forward to that. Them not having Bush moving forward too could be a problem as far as containing Baltimore, containing Lamar Jackson. That's going to be such a good, such a huge matchup as far as that's concerned. The Ravens and the Steelers, they do not. November 1st.
Woo!
November 1st.
Yeah.
So bye week this week, and then they got Baltimore. That's their next game.
I mean, the difference between Pittsburgh and Baltimore is quarterback. If Big Ben stays healthy, and that new kid they got, they call him Mapletron. That rookie, that kid's sick.
No, I mean, I saw that they were comparing him. They were doing that with a few receivers over the weekend, comparing him to Megatron as far as that goes. But yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, on the other hand, Kev is 100% right, man. Dude, you don't give up a number one draft pick from that run. No.
So you stick. If the Falcons say we are not moving, you have to give us a first round, and we're not giving them to you. You just stick with Baker the rest of the year, knowing that you can't win with Baker.
I put Baker on the bench, and I would go with Case Keenum. Case Keenum went 11-3 as a starter for the Vikings under Stefanski. He got beat by the Eagles that went on to beat the Patriots. I mean, he's a very, very, very.
So you want the quarterback that got beat by Nick Foles? I'm just joking. I was going to say Tom Brady got beat by Nick Foles twice. Tom Brady just got beat by Nick Foles last week or 2 weeks ago. Jeff, are you still there? Did you cut out?
Yeah.
Oh, you're still there? Yeah. No, look, I mean, but to be clear here, that's the boring route to go through Cleveland. That's the safe route, and I think that's a dangerous route. I think those players would respect the front office more if they went all in. And right now, Case Keenum's he's not going to come in and throw the ball all over the field. This team is built, yes, to run, but they have the receivers to air it out. And I feel like you're not taking advantage of one of your strengths. Your strength is being hidden because of the lack of ability from your quarterback. And Keenum doesn't, I don't know what Keenum does. Maybe one less interception a game from Keenum, which obviously could be a big deal against a schedule like this. But overall, your goal is not just to win the games in the regular season. It's positioning yourself for the playoffs as well when you get there. And we've seen what Baker does against elite teams in the playoffs, and that's the quality teams that they will run into the very first round.
Right. I think that Keenum can get them there. And here's an idea.
I think Baker can get them there, technically.
Bullshit. No way. No way.
We were doing so good. Baker can get them to the playoffs. He can just go to break. Baker can get to the playoffs. So you're going to win in the playoffs. You're going to pull something moving that quick. I hope you hit that on time. That's all that matters.
I doubt it.
Got Case Keenum again over here. Hour 2 next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Report 3.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World.
The year is 2019, and someone is waiting for the previews to start in a movie theater.
Hey, you want anything? Popcorn? Soda? No, nothing.
This has been The Sounds of the Old World.
Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
It's time for Straight Talk, just like football. You want the best coverage with your wireless network without your wallet taking a hit? Straight Talk Wireless gives you the same nationwide coverage as the big carriers, America's best networks, for up to 50% less. Just $45 a month for 25 gigs of high-speed data than 2G with an unlimited plan. No contract, no mystery fees. Don't get sidelined by weak protection. Get Straight Talk Wireless. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Of course we can help you find some new headlights. Here's a tip. Make sure to replace them in pairs so you'll have even lighting over time. Right now you can get a $10 AutoZone gift card by mail or email when you buy a Sylvania HID bulb. And with our free next day delivery and free same day store pickup, you can get it fast. Getting the job done just got easier. Free next day delivery on eligible orders. Restrictions at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Allstate now has deeper savings, and deeper savings require deep thoughts and a deep voice, like mine. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise, and save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. As someone once said, saving today is money tomorrow. That's deep.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Of course we can help you with that oil change. Doing it yourself is a great way to save some money. Right now you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil high mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $27.99. And we've got even more ways to get it. Just order online with our next day delivery or free same day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
College football, it's the game you wake up early on Saturdays for, even though kickoff isn't until 7. The game where the Goodyear blimp becomes a Hall of Famer. The game that goes just beyond school spirit, fandom, or love of the sport. It's the game where the comebacks happen. It's the game where anything can and will happen as long as you have the drive. Because college football is the game that moves you. We get it because it moves us too. Goodyear, more driven.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. And you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Paint? No, Paramount isn't just paint. It's the #1 paint in overall interior hide and stain resistance, providing the most advanced protection in just one coat. And now you can get that same outstanding protection with our new Paramount One Coat White. This first-of-its-kind one-coat ready mix white provides a beautiful white finish. You'll find Paramount paint exclusively at Menards. In third-party tests, interior paint claims versus super premium home center brands in eggshell sheen.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Savings or mail-in rebate. See store for details.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time. Time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations, serving the greater Dayton and Cincinnati area, is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the best value in bath and shower remodeling, and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that is safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase. Visit on Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com and upgrade today.
Strict attention to detail. That's what sets Kubota construction equipment apart. It's how we maximize performance, increase strength, and give you the dependability you demand. We engineer our equipment precisely at every level. It's what makes us a leader. Save up to $11,000 on construction equipment or get 0% APR financing for 60 months. Now through December 31st, 2020. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
See Columbus Equipment Company, 7570 New Carlisle Pike in Dayton.
Fall is all about feel-good food and family. This fall, get a home-style meal on the go that everyone will love. Stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for a 12-piece spicy bonus box for only $23.99. Home-style can happen anywhere with 12 mixed pieces of Lee's Spicy Classic Chicken, a large mashed potatoes and gravy, and a large coleslaw, all at a great price. Get a home-style meal made easy with our 12-piece spicy bonus box for only $23.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Pros, make Lowe's your first stop for flooring. See the latest in tile, vinyl, laminate, and hardwood. They have the quantities you expect and at bulk pricing. Shop in-store or online at lowesforpros.com.
Starting route. Your destination is 0.1 miles away.
If you drive
In
less than
500 feet, turn left. You have arrived at your destination.
If you drive less than 25 miles a day, you could be paying less every day with pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate. You get the same reliable coverage and hands-on expertise you'd expect from Allstate, but now at a price that's tailored to the miles you drive.
Call your local Allstate agent and start paying what's right for you. Includes a daily rate. Prices vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Not applicable in California. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Geico presents Monster Counseling.
Dracula, tell me how you're feeling. No one understands how lonely it is. No one will even let me into their house. I knock and I knock, but they ignore me. Uh-huh. What else? I look in the mirror and I don't even see myself anymore. If you don't see yourself clearly, can you really expect others to? I'm having a breakthrough.
It's not easy to be a vampire, but with Geico, it's super easy to switch and save hundreds on your car insurance.
For the ones working tirelessly to keep their coworkers safe. For the ones rising to new challenges. For the ones rebuilding stronger than before. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, safety recovery guides, and 24/7 support. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Sport Clips Haircuts, we are on a mission to help veterans with their education through the VFW Sport Clips Help a Hero Scholarship Program. Through generous donations from people like you, we've raised $8 million and awarded 1,750 scholarships to deserving veterans across the country. And on Veterans Day, November 11th, Sport Clips will donate an additional $1 for every haircut we give. Help us continue this honorable mission. Visit Sport Clips today and help a hero.
My husband, Alex Hussey, was hit by an IED in Afghanistan.
I was point man in foot patrol and I slept on the bomb. Lost my legs and my left hand in an explosion.
DAV helps veterans of every generation to get the benefits they've earned.
To see Alex learning to snow ski, that's life-changing.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories great and small.
This has meant so much. Thank you, DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Try Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that blow the butterscotch out of your grandma's bowl. Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays at 3 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
So you want to talk about outliers? Those guys are outliers. You're lucky that this thing's separating us. That's all I got to say. For facts, though. I got your facts right here.
Listen, stream, and now watch. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook to follow along. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com. WYNG 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, everybody, welcome back in. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Hour 2, we are off and rolling. I'll get back to your calls here in just a second. Again, back to your responses regarding the Browns' potential chances of landing a Matt Ryan. If he is, dangled out there and made available, definitely think the Browns would be stupid not to, as far as that's concerned. Other NFL news today that I thought was really interesting. I mean, why is this Tua news such big news? We all knew that the plan was to ease him in. And if you have any common sense about football at all, you know that the best time to bring it, for one, he should have been starting from the beginning, unless he wasn't healthy. But doctors continued on a weekly basis, come out and said, hey, he's healthy. If you're ever going to make a change at quarterback, you usually do it during a bye week. So there's really nothing, like everyone's like, man, I was so surprised by this. I was so taken back. There was nothing surprising about this at all. You mean it was surprising that Tua Tagovailoa, that up until his injury was considered the best quarterback in college football, the Dolphins were tanking for Tua last year? You mean the team that was tanking for Tua drafts Tua in the first round, makes him a starter, and that's surprising on a bye week, on a team that is 3-3. But what are you competing? What are you doing? Stop. We're making so much out of this. And I thought that it would be done until Ryan Fitzpatrick looks all big and tough with that beard, but his heart's broken. He said today that I was shocked. It broke my heart. Broke my heart is what he said. Ryan Fitzpatrick, you knew what you were doing. You knew you were babysitting a position until he was ready to go. You can't sit there and foster a puppy and then cry when the owners come to pick it up. You can't, you knew what you were getting yourself into. You knew that you were not the face of the Miami Dolphins. You were trying to cover that face anyways with that beard. Let's be clear here. You have no business being heartbroken, sad. I lost my job to attack him. You knew. You went back to the Dolphins. You could have left. You chose to come back to a team that drafted Tua Tagovailoa. You knew damn well you were lucky to even be the starter to begin with. And he's good, by the way. Fitzpatrick is good. But it's hit or miss. You never know what you're going to get. Well, let's be clear. The fact that we're spending so much time on this is annoying. Oh my God, breaking news. Dolphins starting Tua. Okay. They should have been starting him from the beginning. Awesome. Then breaking news the next day. Fitzpatrick crying to the media that he's heartbroken and that he was shocked. How are you shocked? Nobody should be shocked. The Dolphins drafted him in the first round. They were tanking for Tua last year. Were you not paying attention? I know you look like a caveman, but I'm pretty sure you own a cell phone and were paying attention to some of the reports out there. Ridiculous. Heartbroken. Heartbroken. Was Andy Dalton heartbroken when Joe Burrow took his job? No, Andy Dalton's like, okay, deuces, I'm going to Dallas. He thought he got the better of that deal, by the way, and he did not, although he is still starting. I don't know who has it worse. I don't know if Joe Burrow has it worse in Cincinnati or if Andy Dalton has it worse in Dallas, but unreal.
Definitely got it worse in Dallas right now. I mean, shoot, you got all that talent and you're still losing.
Like, that's got to suck. Not good. Not good at all. I mean, shoot, the way they played on Monday Night Football when the world was watching, we all knew that the defense was going to give up a ton of points. Matter of fact, I talked all that trash about, oh, man, you better play DeAndre Hopkins. He didn't even ball out. DeAndre Hopkins only had like 2 catches. But Kyler Murray still balled out. I don't know if he only completed 9 passes. They were chunk plays. I mean, that one pass over the top, the bucket, just right into it was a perfect pass, dropped it in there perfectly. Crazy, man. And then you look at the talent on offense, but, that's something that you and I disagree with also, like talent. I just think, like, sometimes talent is names. Like, you get your name and you get hype, and because you have commercials and you have spectacular moments. But I don't necessarily think that talent like that is the reason why you win championships. Like, it's a team sport. You guys got to be bought in to the maximum. I mean, we can look at the most talented roster that Tom Brady played with. They didn't win a Super Bowl. And the less talented rosters on paper, those are the championship teams. I just think talent isn't the end all be all. I think, especially in football, you got to work together. Now in the NBA, most talented team wins the most of the time, but not in football. Well, Cleveland's one of the most talented teams for sure, but they're not. Yeah. It's not that they're not, but they are gelling though. Like, the reason they're not gelling is because they are gelling. They look like a cohesive unit, but there is one player that is not playing or carrying his end of the bargain. Right. The line's blocking. The receivers are making catches whenever they, are there. The run game, everything. So, like, they're fine. It's Baker. Baker's the problem. As far as who the hell's knocking on our door during the show? Like, the light is on, and I'm going to knock on the window when someone's on the air. I don't know why. I mean, I know no one's in this building ever, but I have no clue why. Like, the radio rules are, hey, when the light's on, you don't knock and pound on the window. I thought that was you tapping on the desk. I wish it was, but it wasn't. We got Dan on the line. Good transition there. Dan, how are you, sir?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, I called in a few days, and I was right with you, Justin, with the Matt Ryan to Cleveland. I just didn't feel – I said I was done with Baker. I was reading up on that, and it's going to be somewhere between somewhere around $40 million in dead cap that would almost make a trade impossible to do. Did you happen to see that?
There are a lot of, for one, if Atlanta wants to move on from it, yes, I did see that. But the report I read today, too, that Atlanta is very well aware that they're going to have to eat some of that. That's not going to be, it's not all going to be, they're not just going to, they're not going to lose him and lose all that money, too. They're going to have to eat some of that as far as that's concerned.
And being from around here and around the Dayton area, the biggest thing to be like, okay, I'm done with Baker Mayfield is the Bengals fans. They just assume now Burrow's better than Baker when he hasn't done a damn thing.
Yeah, and look, sometimes I double down on the Burrow's not good thing just because Bengals fans annoy me, but he's good. I know he's good. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not good, but the one part I'll agree with you on is, when I watch Baker accomplish more in his rookie year and look better his rookie year, I got ripped for it. Burrow's doing less, and somehow it's like he's walking on water and creating cures for cancer. I mean, I have no clue. Bengals fans crack me up as far as that's concerned, but Burrow's good. I just say he's bad when Bengals fans annoy me. But he's not better than Baker was his rookie year. I will stick to that, though.
And last thing here I want to talk about here. I mean, we both agree that obviously Matt Ryan isn't sitting on the bench, and that being Case Keenum. But I'm not sure that Case Keenum makes those stupid passes like the pick six Baker made. Now, I don't know. I kind of think you get a little bit better in Case Keenum just because of the decision making.
And that's what I said earlier. You'll take a step forward as far as losing the turnovers. But we did see, and someone said earlier too, by the way, that the Cleveland screwing up by allowing Baker to throw so much. Sometimes situationally you have to throw when you're down and when you're behind in a game. You have to throw. But Keenum coming in, I don't know if he elevates their passing game from a production standpoint, but he does. At least he doesn't make that big mistake, that backbreaker mistake that Baker's been making so many of throughout his career.
He did tear it up, with Diggs and Thielen and Dalvin Cook there, with Stefanski. So it would be interesting, but, hopefully Baker can get right, but I just don't see it. Hey, have a good day, guys.
Have a good one. Take care. David Shaw says, when it comes to Baker versus Burrow rookie season, the season isn't over yet. It doesn't matter. Like, it does not matter. Unless Joe Burrow all of a sudden just is averaging 3 to 4 touchdowns a game moving forward, he's not touching what Baker did his rookie year. I'm just saying, listen, you guys, you can have the Baker Mayfield for the last 2 years. You win. I've admitted you win. But you're not going to take rookie Baker away from me. You're just not. I'm keeping that. Me and rookie Baker still have a connection. Last 2 years, Well, who we got?
We got Russ on the line.
What's up, Russ? How are you?
Pretty good. It's an interesting conversation. I'm not sure Baker's the problem. And if he is, I think you can lay it on the coaching staff last year. Because he definitely...
With Freddie Kitchens, like, just not, them, the success he had his rookie year, the staff last year, just not being capable of, continuing to put him in position to progress and build off what he did. That was my argument about why Freddie Kitchens had to go last year. I'll give you that. But Stefanski, he's a good coach. He knows what he's doing.
But he's got to get Baker correct what happened to him last year before he can build on it.
And how do you suggest doing that? I'm not mocking. I'm just curious.
Idea.
You have no, okay.
I'm hoping they didn't completely ruin him.
But we talked about this yesterday a little bit. Like, how do we know if teams ruin players? Like, how do we know that the players just aren't that good? Now, there's a parallel of, all the bad teams always seem to ruin the good players out of college. Well, that's the fault of the NFL for having a stupid setup. I know all sports do, but I think that the draft is the dumbest thing in the world for how they do it. You shouldn't reward like the Jets. They are the biggest embarrassment in the NFL this year, but you're going to reward them with Trevor Lawrence? Give me a break. The Bengals last year, they were, everyone was mocking them, especially me. I was leading the parade, and they get rewarded with Joe Burrow. You should not be rewarded with the top talent coming out of college if you're a crap organization. And the Jets are going to get bailed out with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, but Mayfield did really well his rookie year. Things fell apart the next year. The defense couldn't stop anybody last year. And I watch them this year, and nobody's getting open on the offense. None of the receivers are getting open. Against the Steelers, the offensive line was completely overwhelmed. They couldn't block anybody. None of the receivers got open. Mayfield was running for his life. They couldn't run the ball. And the defense couldn't stop anybody.
Now, if you're talking about the Pittsburgh game, I'll agree with you 1,000,000%. But even before that...
It was that way against Dallas. As far as the defense, Dallas was doing great things.
Oh, you mean but the defense has nothing to do with Baker.
They've been in a race to see who can score 40 points quickest.
Well,
because the defense can't stop anybody. So he's out there trying to keep things going. That's not helping him. He's got a good running game, but you can't count on 70-yard runs all the time.
No, you can't, but that's the only thing they can rely on because Baker's not capable of making consistent enough plays down the field with his arm, and it's not from lack of weapons, and it's not from lack of an offensive line. That's why I talked about even before the Pittsburgh game. He had him and Russell Wilson averaged the most amount of time in the pocket to make plays, and Russell Wilson's making the best with his situation, and Baker hasn't been able to take that next step. That's been the problem.
Well, I'm wondering what happened to the plan to roll Baker out of the pocket.
You talk about the play action. They actually do. Yeah. The last I checked before Pittsburgh, they have run play action for I think like 11th. They're 11th in the NFL in play action attempts, and his completion percentage is garbage in play action. I thought for sure with Stefanski's offensive scheme, that's what everyone kept saying coming in. Oh man, the being able to capitalize on that attack is going to be what takes Baker to the next level. But that has not helped Baker at all. Him rolling out to his left has actually worked out pretty good. He's more accurate rolling out to his left, which is more difficult. That's one of the most difficult throws to do, and that's what he's actually best at, but you can't roll out left every time.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm just not sure if Baker is not that good or if he was crushed by the previous coaching staff and his confidence is rocked and he's just not coming back, and getting pounded by Pittsburgh and Baltimore doesn't help.
No, it does not. But Russ, I appreciate your take on that. Thank you so much for the call.
Sure thing.
Take care. And to be fair to his point, we are blaming everything. We're blaming the Pittsburgh game on Baker, but Baker was a part of many problems against Pittsburgh. But that offensive line was straight garbage. Defense, they weren't stopping Big Ben. They weren't stopping that. The Pittsburgh offense Anyways, I guess we're done with that. But 457-9464. David Shaw says, how does it matter? He has 10 games left. Dave, what have you seen from Joe Burrow to make you think that he is just going to magically just start running? I mean, that the touchdowns are just going to start piling up. What? Is Bobby Hart going to grow a pair and figure out how to block up front? Is that offensive line going to get just magically better overnight? I mean, I have no clue. There's nothing that's Joe Burrow's going to do to have a better rookie year than what Baker did. And I'm sticking to Baker's rookie year because that's all I have.
I do got a question
that's
for you.
That's all I have.
What is a fair price? What do you think a fair price for Matt Ryan? Obviously, I don't believe a first round pick is. You do.
No.
So if we're the head honchos with the Browns, you
don't go in saying, I have a first round pick.
I'm saying you and I are the head honchos with the Browns, and we both agree, like, all right, let's make a play for Matty Ice. But you and I have to agree before we call Atlanta to make an offer. You're talking number one pick. I'm totally on the other side. So let's try to work it out between you and I.
My way will take the Browns further than getting blown out by 30 in the first round of the playoffs.
Like, what are we willing to give up for
you
him?
Have to be willing to give up anything. It doesn't mean you go in there saying, I got a first round, give it to me. Look, do you think Amari Cooper was worth the first round pick a few years ago for Dallas?
I thought it was a little high, but Amari Cooper was still under his first contract.
Everyone,
Matt Ryan is a sage veteran now, in the middle of a great contract for him. And I just think that's a bit much, a first round pick. So that's why I'm asking you, you and I try to meet to a common ground on what we would be willing to give up if we were in charge of the Browns.
Everything, this isn't just, unfortunately, going to sit there and say is Matt Ryan's talent alone. If we are looking to rebuild and build around Matt Ryan, is you don't give up a first round for him. But the Cleveland Browns situation right now is you have 2 years and 2 years only to win. He's 35 years old. Why would you give up a first round pick for a 35-year-old? You don't in any other circumstance except this one, because there is no other quarterback that the Browns are going to be able to go out and get come this deadline that is going to make them better. Fitzpatrick's not going to make Cleveland better. Andy Dalton wouldn't make them better. Case Keenum definitely isn't going to make him better. You go out and you get Matt Ryan, who right now is playing extremely well. Most passing yards in the NFL right now outside of Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's he's done for the year, so he's not active. Right there. Stolen touchdowns. He has a ton of yards. His offensive line's been up. He's been without Julio Jones. And again, Calvin Ridley's been stepping up and making plays. But again, Matt Ryan is proving right there with the bad offensive line, I'm still making plays with a weapon. And there's a good offensive line in Cleveland. There's plenty of weapons in Cleveland. There's a run game in Cleveland. Matt Ryan's still playing at a high level. So on any other year, yes, I agree with you. He's not worth the first round pick, but Cleveland's situation is more about, okay, we need him more than he needs us. We have 2 years to make this work. He's 35. We're not looking to marry the guy long term. Looking to just date, hang out, But he's going to get us what we need, and we're going to get him what he needs, and that's a chance to win some football games. Because if you're Matt Ryan, you don't want to go end up with Detroit or some crap team. He could end up with the Niners. A lot of people believe he could end up with the Niners. Wouldn't be a bad landing spot for him either as far as that's concerned. But the offense that the Browns run and the Niners run, two good offenses for Matt Ryan's services. You don't go into those conversations and say, I'm definitely giving up. Here's my first round. Give him to me.
No. I'm saying you and I, we're in charge of the Browns. Before we call them, we got to agree on what we would be willing to give them.
We wouldn't agree. I wouldn't budge off that. I would not leave that conversation without him. I mean, I'm not saying be ridiculous. I'm going to give you Nick Chubb a first round, next year's first round, and the next 5-year first rounds. I mean, this isn't what was that? This isn't draft day.
The highest
I'm not Kevin Costner here.
The highest I will be willing to go will be a 4th round pick.
And that's why the Browns would suck if you were leading the way, which you would fit right in then. The Browns would be trash.
Ain't no way I'm giving up a 1st round pick, dog.
Okay, enjoy, getting knocked out of the playoffs by Pittsburgh, which you would enjoy. Who we got?
We got Scott on the line.
What's up, Scott? How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm going to be a unicorn here for a second. I'm not a Browns fan. I'm a Dolphins fan.
Okay.
And I've hated Baker Mayfield my whole life since I knew him the first. But I'm going to tell you something.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, Tyrod Taylor had a rib injury, got the needle, and now he's looking for a career. And I have a theory about Baker Mayfield. Have you ever had, either one of you guys had rib injury before?
I mean, I had a cramp from eating too much one time. I don't know if that. No, I have not. No.
I've had broken ribs before, and I tried to go to work, and I couldn't even do my factory job I can't imagine playing quarterback with injured ribs. And I honestly, because they said before the game he was wearing Kevlar and this other flap jacket thing on top of that. Honestly, I don't think he took the needle. And honestly, you got to give him a break for the next couple of weeks. He had a receiver with the flu and another receiver that was injured, and his first running back's out. I mean, all these people are ready to throw him out. I hate to say it, but he's a hell of a quarterback.
So you think it's a little overreaction? Treader's out too. He's a top-rated guard.
Let the guy. I mean, did you see him running off at halftime? I mean, he could barely run into the locker room.
Well, I mean, he's like Tiger Woods. That back and ribs always cramp up when you ain't playing well. You ever watch Tiger Woods golf? When he's golfing well, the back is great. But every time he has a bad shot, he's holding that back. Oh, man. But I definitely get what you're saying. I'm getting a lot of that, too. It's funny how when I attack Baker, there's all these Baker sympathy people out there. It's crazy, right? Is it crazy?
I go to sleep, and I remember him planting that flag. I just want to punch him in the throat. But he's a smaller
Aim for the ribs. Aim for the ribs.
He's a smaller statured guy with a rib injury who's trying to pass over the top of linemen that are 6'5". You got to cut him a break for a week or two, and he was playing the best team in the AFC right now, the Steelers.
That's fair.
All right, that's all I got. I can't believe I stuck up for Baker.
And it's recorded and everything. We will play that for days, I tell you. Take care, Scott. No, and I just think that right now the urgency factor is kicking in, where I think they're realizing, okay, we're good enough to win games, but isn't it weird? Like, they're winning games, you could still look at them and say, oh yeah, but they don't got it. And we're going to look at them at the end of the year, and let's say my theory is correct. Let's say they get to 12 wins, even to just say 11. Let's meet halfway 11. That's not halfway, but 11. 11 wins, that's good. Bad teams don't win 11 games. I don't even care if they're playing bad teams. It's tough to even beat bad teams consistently every week. So, that's why I do feel like there is a panic that is even coming internally. OBJ is talking as if they're 0-6. That's why I think that there's issues in Cleveland right now, because the players look like their dog just died. Mm-hmm. And they don't, we're as fans saying, relax, it's fine. They're still 4-2. I would be on that bandwagon if those guys were acting that way.
It's the way the game played out. If I was to tell you after 6 games they were 4-2, you would take that. But the games have to be played and the outcomes have to be shown. You see the games. You see, all right, we got blew out by the Ravens. Then we went on a 4-game winning streak against teams some people will say aren't that good. I beg to differ. And then you play another big dog in the Pittsburgh Steelers and you get blown out. It's the outcome of the games that has people shook. And I would just go back to the fact that, people get blown out. Teams get blown out. It happens. You got to be able to bounce back. And if you're able to bounce back and see what you got, I think you don't jump off of the ship that you've already started this season. I don't think that it's that dire that you make a drastic change like this. I think they're going into this season. They were saying, all right, we're going to see how Baker plays this season and we'll reevaluate after this season. I don't think you deviate from that. You're 4-2. I think you play it out. If you determine he's not the guy after this season, then you can move forward, because
you do that if you're rebuilding. This team's a final product right now. They're not that you do that. You do that if you're like Kyler Murray, the Cardinals. Let's see what he looks like at the end of the year. And let's see what we got here. Let's find the Cardinals. They have a young roster there. The Browns don't. That's why their urgency factor is big with them, because they don't have 5 or 6 years with these guys. They have 2 to 3. And they definitely, if they keep losing, you ain't going to get to that third, that maybe you won't even get to that second year, because guys are going to start wanting to get the hell out of there. And they're going to hit the reset button, and then you're stuck with Baker, and Baker couldn't win with weapons around him, and now he's your guy moving forward without weapons. That's where that's why I think the urgency's there. And I think it's dumb to ignore all the talent on the roster to let that guy catch up, instead of just going out to get a guy that is going to just elevate everybody else.
We got Mark on the line.
What's up, Mark?
Justin Kenner, shame on you.
We were doing so good.
If you keep this up, I'm going to suggest that the show be called The Kevin Kenner Show, okay?
Which I'm fine with. I'm not against that, but what did I say that's wrong?
It makes more work for me.
You need to turn and listen to your sidekick. You are 4-2, son. Some days you just get your butt kicked. It happens. You do not jump ship on 4-2. And like Kev said, if you just said, hey, Justin, you're going to be 4-2 to start the season, you've been dancing around that studio with bells on. But that's not my main point. I'm going to talk. You always like to talk about, Justin, putting people in position to win. Cincinnati Bengals, I'm going to turn just the page for just a second. That poor Joe Burrow, if you look at Sunday's game and you go back and look at games that they played this year that they should have won, I know, should have, San Diego, Philly, okay, that poor guy was handed the ball on the last series. They needed a touchdown to win, not a field goal. They run the ball on first down for nothing. That you're not putting that kid in position to win. He's been on his fanny the whole game, and they just came at him like a pack of wild dogs on the next two plays. Of course he's going to throw a pick. And then you give the ball to Samaje Perine instead of your stud running back when you can't even get a yard. Zach Taylor, you got to go. Time to go. That's where you jump ship at 1-3-1 and ditch your coach. You don't ditch Baker Mayfield.
1-4-1.
I'm not a Browns fan, but come on, man. Your Browns are doing pretty good, man.
4-2. Trust me. I mean, isn't it weird? I think it's very pretentious of Browns fans to be upset at 4-2, right? Like if there's any organization out there that should be throwing, they throw a parade for 0-16. They should be doing naked jumping jacks in the streets right now for 4-2. Don't do that. Absolutely. I've seen the Browns fans are hideous looking. Yeah. We don't need that. We don't need that.
But when you have a terrible offensive line, you don't run the ball on first with 2.5 minutes to go from the 40-yard line on your own 35 or 40. You're setting that kid up. We already got a terrible offensive line. I mean, it's like the coach said, well, let's just and even when it's 3rd and 1 and they give it to Perine, and the next play they try to kick a field goal and he boinks it off the upright. You don't try to – I mean, how many more blunders has Zach Taylor got to make before the Bengals make a change?
You know, and it's weird too, because anytime we have a Bengals writer on, I always I'm with you. I always feel like, man, you can't just keep losing like this and can't keep getting a pass. People were screaming about Marvin Lewis, who was it reminded me so much of Dusty Baker. You know, Reds fans I think would kill to have Dusty Baker back, because Dusty Baker at least got the Reds to the playoffs. Marvin Lewis, same thing. Remember the good old days when we used to get mad about not being able to get a playoff win? Well, how's this working out? Zach Taylor, I mean, now you're not anywhere close to the playoffs. So you got to be careful what you wish for. Yes, you want to win in the playoffs, but my goodness. So I guess I need to listen to my own advice as far as that's concerned.
Well, I hate to say, if we would have done this, if we wouldn't have done that, but the Bengals' losses have come down to just blunders and mistakes, and those things fall on the coach. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you. Especially these one-possession losses, they've been losing close games, and that's on the coach. That's when you lose one-possession games. That's always on the coach and the quarterback. You're going to give Burrow a little bit of a pass because he's a rookie, but that goes back to Zach Taylor. So,
and let's not forget, they were up 21-0 and got outscored 30-some to
31-6. 31-6, they got outscored.
I'm sorry, that's not Joe Burrow throwing an interception on the last series that lost the game. I mean, the Eagles tied San Diego, and then this one here. Other than the Browns beating the Bengals, they should be. It's still the best division in football, even with the Bengals, slumping right now. So keep the faith on your Browns. Let's make a Bengals change. Let's see what happens this weekend.
And all will be good in Ohio. There you go. Good stuff, man.
Sir.
Thank you, Mark. Take care. All right, go Bucks. Exactly. Let your mics off. Let's go back to the. Let's go back to the Facebook feed. And Tyler Shorty makes a good point. Baker sucks healthy, let alone hurt. I don't know if that's a good point. I don't know why I said it's a good point. It's a stupid point. But thank you, Shorty, for playing along. Vincent Waller says the Bengals need to get a wide receiver or two that can get constant. Vincent, I'm not even going to read the rest. You've seen that offensive line, and you're on here saying they need a receiver. Unless those wide receivers are going to block, it don't matter. It don't matter. But to be fair, Julio Jones is going to be available too, because Julio Jones, imagine, I think Marcus Hartman from Day Daily News, he tweeted back at me today saying, he goes, it's unlikely to happen, but you imagine if the Bengals were able to pair Julio and AJ Green. Like AJ Green is not AJ, I say it every day. He's not the AJ Green of old. He's old AJ Green. We got it. We're over romanticizing who AJ Green used to be. And we just got to accept the fact that T. Higgins is your new AJ Green. T. Higgins is the man. Everyone knows I'm a Bengals hater apparently, but I love T. Higgins. if I'm going to tune in to watch the Bengals every week, I'm at least excited that I get to see Joe Burrow and T. Higgins connect on a weekly basis. So there's
starting to hit that long ball.
Doug Toby on Facebook says Bengals by he predicts Bengals by 10. Vegas has the Browns by 3. Something's up. I do think that it is. I think that's a close. I'm not just doing this because I'm a Browns fan. I do think that line is very tight. I'm watching Breaking Bad again, by the way.
Are you? Hold on. How are you watching that again and you didn't finish the latest season of Better Call Saul?
Because I'm going to do that right before Better Call Saul comes out again and then just go right into it.
Oh, good.
Right now, I'm not curious. I'll be curious after that.
Oh, goodness.
They need to get Ozark back up and rolling, Yellowstone back up and rolling.
So you still haven't watched The Wire. You still haven't watched Snowfall.
Look, Ozark's about to wrap up. I'm going to watch that. When that comes out, I will watch that.
Are they filming yet?
I will watch that entire thing in one day. I will call off work. I did that for, I can't believe I'm announcing that over the air. I wasn't in radio yet at the time, but Breaking Bad, good. I called off work 2 straight days. I was sick. Because I was staying up all night watching Breaking Bad. I watched the entire Breaking Bad series in like 3 days. It was unbelievable. Best show ever. Until Yellowstone's pretty good. Ozark, damn it, they're all good. They're all
Ozark,
good.
Breaking Bad, love it. I love it.
Who we got?
We got the Ron.
The Ron. What is up?
What's up? What's up, Justin? Sounds like you're in a good mood today.
No, you sound like you're in a good mood. That's a lot of energy, Ron. That's a lot of energy coming at me.
Well, I wasn't real happy with the game last night, but it's only one game. So.
And I hope the Rays lose again tonight.
Oh, man, I wasn't even going to call in and be mean to you. But
that's not me being mean. I'm just telling you, I don't like their pitcher tonight, so I hope they lose.
Oh, yeah, he kind of...
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm going all the way back to. He was the one that Blake Snell. Oh, no, I can't. No, the baseball, they better not make me play. If baseball makes me play, I'm not going to risk my life for baseball. Well, how's that working out for you, buddy? You're starting game 2 of the World Series. You don't seem too concerned about it now.
Yeah, he was a money man, but you notice he kept playing. So
money talks, man. But hey, good for the Rays, man. Good for them. It's a good. Yeah. The ratings are good too. I saw that the ratings for baseball, the World Series, are back up. Last year was one of the worst rated World Series ever.
Well, Dickie V's going to have a heart attack. He's getting too excited.
Go Rays, baby! I saw that stuff. He's all over radio this week too, promoting the Rays. I mean, he is bored in quarantine, man. I'm telling you.
Anyway, I'm not going to rag on you about flip-flopping, but man, when Baker's doing great, you're all high on him. But then when he looks like poo, you're like, oh, let's get rid of him, you know?
So when Tom Brady finally looks his age, are you going to be saying, no, let's keep the geriatric quarterback, or are you going to say, no, it's time to move on?
Well, here's another thing I was going to say.
You didn't answer my question, Ron.
Well, he's only got 2 years.
So here's the thing. You know how people were like, I don't know why you try to make me sound foolish there. When your favorite players play well, you get excited. When your favorite players stop playing well, you get a little upset. I don't think I'm being that crazy here for you should be more concerned if I'm trying to tell you that he looks great. I'm agreeing with people that he doesn't look good, and then people still don't like those responses. You guys are crazy, man. Crazy.
But see, he's the kind of guy that'll bounce back. You know what I mean?
Who?
And Tom Brady.
You thought he was going to say somebody else. You thought he was going to say Baker.
Oh, hell no. But anyway, like with the Hayfield thing, like I hear people complaining about, oh, he's 35, Matt Ryan. Hell, Brady's 43. And look at the quality play he's playing. You know what I mean? Like you said, put a guy in a good system, and it'll work. Now, if Brady was on the Browns right now, how good would they be?
I don't know. What down is it?
Hey, you keep joking around. You keep joking. But here's another thing.
I bet Tom Brady in the home, I bet he calls bingo, and then they always have to restart bingo because he puts a chip on a card on a letter and a number that wasn't called yet. Oh, I thought you said B4. My bad. You said B5. Oh, okay.
He's TB12. You better remember that. Anyway, what I wanted to say was, I remember earlier in the year, man, you were really lobbying about Mike McCarthy. We need him. We need him. Now, would you rather have had him than Stefanski?
Ron, you already know I said that the Browns were wrong for getting Stefanski over Mike McCarthy. So you just keep bringing that. You keep all these receipts. Kenner is wrong a lot, okay? Like it's just a bad day for me, and I was wrong about that too. You happy, Ron? You happy?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. That's all that matters is that you're happy.
And you got it wrong again.
Well, you're running out of time, Ron.
Okay, real quick, another one. Okay, the Buccaneers were the second-ranked defense in the league. Now they're number 1.
All right. Congratulations.
All right. Well, go Bengals.
Talk to you later, Ron.
Hang up on him. He's done. Go Dodgers, Ron.
Oh, my goodness, man. He brought out the receipts for you today.
And he was off. I could tell when he calls in, he's all energetic. I'm like, oh, he has something lined up.
He must have went back and listened to the podcast, man, with a notepad.
No kidding. Real quick, Charles Tackett on Facebook says, if the Browns don't jump to get Matt Ryan, the second best choice they could potentially get is Fitzmagic, then cut ties with Baker this offseason. Well, that is magic. That's David Blaine stuff, making Baker disappear out of Cleveland. Holy smokes.
Wait, the turn on the Baker, the turn on the bake shop.
Did I really get trashed by Ron? David Shaw just said Kenner just got trashed by Ron. Ron brought his A game. I'll give him that. Usually he's not on it, but today he was on it. He was like Tom Brady versus the Packers, and not Tom Brady on Monday Night Football when he couldn't remember what down it was. But every day's a new day.
Indeed.
We'll be back.
Oh, look, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We've been expecting you. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with a high near 68. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with patchy fog, a low around 58. And tomorrow will be mostly sunny and hazy with a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Small Engine Service Pros in New Carlisle, your local authorized Hustler mower dealer. Stop in today and see the Hustler Fast Track, the Hustler X1, and the Hustler Super Z.
Starting route. Your destination is 0.1 miles away.
If you drive less than
500 feet, turn left. You have arrived at your destination.
If you drive less than 25 miles a day, you could be paying less every day with pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate. You get the same reliable coverage and hands-on expertise you'd expect from Allstate, but now at a price that's tailored to the miles you drive.
Call your local Allstate agent and start paying what's right for you. Includes a daily rate. Prices vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Not applicable in California. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates.
Cleanings, checkups, and cavities? Have Dr. Chang's dental practice at capacity.
Patient in room 1 is getting a root canal. The x-rays in room 2 are going to have to wait. We're down to 1 hygienist.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World.
The year is 2019, and someone is waiting for a table at a restaurant.
Thompson, party of 4. Thompson, party of 4. Thompson, oh, there you are.
This has been The Sounds of the Old World.
Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Ask for it at Advanced Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations.
I'm attorney David Brannon, and I'm running for Montgomery County Probate Court Judge on November 3rd. I've worked hard to protect those in need and to get the right answers for families in probate court. I am also certified by the Ohio State Bar Association as a specialist in probate law. I have several plans to improve court services to this community. First, I want to allow a law clinic underneath the roof of the probate court to provide better access to justice for families. I also want to streamline the filing process to improve efficiency and fairness. Please vote for me, David Brannon, November 3rd. I'm David Brannon, and I approve this message.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works Package and the Double Take Tire Specials. Call today for your appointment, 937-419-8473 or 1-800-700-0050. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
Roosters would like to thank all of our loyal guests and all the loyal Buckeye fans for your support this year. Because of you, we've been able to stay open and keep our award-winning team employed. Our team members go above and beyond and are dedicated to providing you and your family the safest dining experience possible while still providing a fun, casual atmosphere to relax, laugh, and enjoy our award-winning food. Roosters, the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Interested in helping Dayton students succeed? Don't miss the Dayton Public Schools Drive-Through Career Fair on Thursday, October 22nd between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. at Welcome Stadium. Masks are required. See the full list of positions and apply now at DaytonPublic.com.
Election Day is November 3rd. If you plan to vote by mail, plan ahead at USPS.com/votinginfo. There, you will find helpful resources, such as guidance for successfully using the mail, links to find your state's rules and deadlines, information for military and overseas voters, and more. The U.S. Postal Service is ready to deliver for you. Make sure you're ready too. Start today at USPS.com/votinginfo.
It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. That means you can get up to a $25 gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of your Superstart battery. Return power, performance, and reliability to your car, truck, motorcycle, and more with Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I worry about lots of things. My finances, my grandkids.
If you're 65 or older, you have enough things to worry about. Pneumococcal pneumonia shouldn't be one of them. Even healthy adults 65 and older are at increased risk for this potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. Help protect yourself with the Prevnar 13 pneumococcal 13-valent conjugate vaccine, diphtheria CRM 197 protein. Prevnar 13 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 13 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 13 does not protect against all strains of the disease. Don't get Prevnar 13 if you have had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with a weakened immune system may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-866-694-9300 or visit Prevnar13.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 13.
Hi, I'm Miss America 2020, asking you to join me in support of the DEA's Take Back Day on Saturday, October 24th. Visit DEATakeback.com.
Buckeye fans, the season is finally here. No, for real this time. ESPN 1410 Wing AM is Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Join us for the season opener on Saturday, October 24th, when Ohio State welcomes in Nebraska. Every tackle, every touchdown, and every Buckeyes win. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, everybody, welcome back. 457-9464. David Shaw is wasting his and everyone's time going back and comparing rookie stats of Baker Mayfield and Joe Burrow. Please tell me that you don't believe that Joe Burrow looks better as a rookie than Baker Mayfield did as a rookie.
No, I don't think that. I think Baker was outstanding as a rookie. I think Joe looks like a good rookie quarterback. I think Baker's rookie year was outstanding. And you and I have gone over this 1,000,001 times from sideways about how I thought the offense was ran better with Baker being the quote-unquote leader of the offense and these quote-unquote lesser talented players around him and him being like the rally guy as opposed to how the offense was ran last year with Kitchens. Which to your point is very weird. It was the same play caller, but the play calling wasn't the same, which was crazy. Maybe Greg Williams had something to do with how the game was called Baker's rookie year, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I would take Baker's rookie year over Joe's rookie year.
And it's not even close. Like Baker Mayfield willed Cleveland to wins. Like he won 7 games as a starter that year. Joe Burrow has that tie that everyone's all excited about, I guess. So look, I know you ain't going to get into the crap throwing, games that I like to get, but keep in mind, no, I'm not going to look. Like I said, Baker's rookie year, that's all I have. You can take that away from me. Not even you, Shaw. Not even you. He's going to say, oh, well, but, his completion percentage. Joe Burrow's completion percentage is better, so that means he's better than Baker Mayfield.
And for me, and this, I don't even think I've said this actually on the air before, but just from our personal conversations, I'm not a stat guy. I don't. Stats back up. I see what
but Kev, look at the stats. David Shaw says to look at the stat. The completion percentage is better. And look, he's been sacked more. Burrow's rookie year is not over yet. Burrow's going to be good, but he's not. Baker's rookie year was better. That's all I got.
Like I said, I'm not a stats guy. I watch the games with my eyeballs, and my eyes tell me one thing. I don't need stats to say, hey, man, LeBron James, great. Just watch the game. I don't need stats to say, man, Steph Curry, he really hits a lot of 3-pointers. Like, you see it with your own eyes. Like, your stats can tell you, like, if somebody's hot or cold. Like, man, he ain't made a shot in a while. Like, he keeps bricking. Pass the ball. You don't need to stat to pop up and say, man, he's 3 for 15. You know it because you're watching the game.
I'm with you.
I'm just not a stat.
We don't agree often, but when we do, we do. As far as that goes. But all right, we're going to get switch gears to some college football coming up here around the corner. Real quick, couple news and notes around the fun world of sports. Stan Van Gundy agrees to a multi-year deal to coach the New Orleans Pelicans. I like Stan Van Gundy. Actually, he's a charismatic, fun guy. I like him in the broadcast booth.
Pit boss.
I would have preferred for this Pelicans team, and you debated this before the show, but Mike D'Antoni is who I would have preferred, that Steve Nash, Phoenix Suns type style. And Schrody, if you're listening, I stole that from you, by the way. And I wouldn't have said that if I didn't know he was listening. I would have just still taken that as my idea. But Ball is one of the best passers in the NBA. Not a good shooter, not a good scorer, but he's one of the best passers, one of the best passers in the NBA. That style under Mike D'Antoni with, then you have that basically Steve Nash / Amari Stoudemire type relationship between him and Zion Williamson. I thought that would have worked. We'll see. Van Gundy's a good coach. He's taken, Orlando, the Magic with Dwight Howard to the finals years ago. His teams win games. It's not like the title's coming to New Orleans anytime soon. All they're doing, Van Gundy's job is to prepare Zion to become a Laker at some point. So that's what his job is.
I think, obviously David Griffin, who's the GM of the New Orleans Pelicans, he wasn't going to be hiring D'Antonio. He wants a coach to teach these guys the game, have them be professionals, and teach them what hard work is all about. No way in the world that you would get a young team like that to be coached by a veteran coach like D'Antonio. He wants a guy, a team that they don't need all these tools. All he wants to do is implement his offense. At the stage of his career, he's not there to be, hey, man, you guys got to be on time. You guys got to act like professionals when we're watching film and all that type of stuff. D'Antonio, he's not on that no more. He's on, like, look, man, get me a star player. We implement my system and we make it happen. I don't necessarily say this is a good or a great hire. It's all right. It's cool.
Yeah, it's just a good start.
It's cool.
It's
kind of like you said, it's for the time being type of hire.
I'm more interested in the other Van Gundy. That's what I'm excited to see come back into the league.
Everybody keeps, like, the guys that announce the games, they're more popular than the candidates that are actually going to be coaching, man. How long was Gruden out before he came back? Bill Cowher, they all were rumors about him coming back all those times. There's always rumors about Jeff coming back. I think those dudes are having a ball, man. Like, they get paid a ton of money to watch a whole bunch of different basketball games and no stress.
He'll take the Houston job. He lives in Houston.
Yeah.
So I think if he does come back, that would be the one.
Somebody going to get traded if he go there.
So something needs to happen. A photographer is suing the Texas Longhorns because the mascot in 2019, the bull. Well, the bull hooked him.
Oh,
remember
where
they did? They let the bull get out of the cage and hit a photographer. The photographer got hurt. So now the photographer's suing. So I mean, I don't know. My thing is, if you stand around a bull, even if it is cage, you're at the risk of what I don't know. I'm suing it. Did you just look at me funny? I'm suing you.
Sue him. Get that money.
Get away from the bull.
Get that money.
My story's bull. I'm with the bull. Get him. Get him. Rob Manfred discussing, the state of MLB in wide-ranging interview, talking, of course, about all the changes in Major League Baseball this year. And, of course, he's a big fan of keeping a lot of those changes, including the runner on second base and extra innings. He's a big fan of the expanded playoffs. Reds fans, you should be a fan of the expanded playoffs as well, because I think that's going to help the Reds playoffs appearances increase over the years. We got time for one. Who we got?
We got Nick from Beaver Creek.
What's up, Nick? Nick in Beaver Creek. How are you?
Pretty good, man. I didn't get in the last 2 days, but I've been wanting to ask you. Last week, man, you said that the outcome of the Browns game would be a direct reflection of how much they need Nick Chubb. Mm-hmm. Do you still stand by that after that blowout?
To a certain extent, although I don't. Someone asked about that earlier too in the show. If would Nick Chubb, or I asked Kev if Nick Chubb would have made a difference. I think it would have been another strong weapon to have. But with the way the offensive line played, I think the Browns not having Treader impacted that game more than not having Nick Chubb. That Browns offensive line was so bad this past Sunday that I don't think it mattered who was at quarterback or who was at running back. It was just a bad day overall.
And have you heard anything about them trading for Matt Ryan?
I don't know. We haven't talked about that. We're going to talk about that soon. Are you joking? Have you been listening, or probably not? I'm assuming. I'm not really sure.
No, it's just word around work. That's all.
Oh, no. That's all we've been talking about today, is that there is a report out there that the Falcons are looking to shop Matt Ryan out there. And we've spent pretty much the entire show me telling everybody why I think the Browns need to pull the trigger on that. And, it has not been met well reaction-wise. Adios. I can't tell if he was being a smart ass or not, so I'm not really 100% sure. So maybe he just wanted to know. Minnesota Timberwolves don't see a clear choice for the number one NBA draft pick, and I agree 100%. Right. I know everyone around here is like, every time that someone puts out a mock draft and Obi's not going number one overall, everyone's like, how could you not take Obi number one? It's a guard league. That's why. The guards are going to go first. Unless the Warriors, who have plenty of guards, the Warriors, if there's a team out there that's going to take Obi that high, it's most likely going to be the Warriors. If not, the Bulls, with the tie in there, the relationship there with the new head coach. Like, Obi's good, but this draft is not that good, and guards are going to go first, and it is what Obi's going to be a good pro. I don't think he's going to be an all-star. I don't think he's going to be a face of a franchise, but it's going to be cool as hell hearing his name called on draft night. That's going to be cool. I remember when Luke Kennard was drafted years ago, and he's from here. That was cool, hearing Luke's name called so high in the draft. Obi's going to go higher. Obi's going to make an immediate impact. I just think he's going to be a very good role player that's going to have a long, good NBA career. Do you see what do you? We've had this conversation before. What's his ceiling? I don't see him leading a team. I don't see, he's going to be a good pro. Going to be a very good pro. I just don't see everyone around here. Oh man, he has to go number one overall. There's no player that comes close to Obi. There's a bunch of really good players in this draft. Mm-hmm. Period.
He'll be a good player, and there's nothing wrong with being a good player. People have to understand the NBA. The amount of superstar players, there's like 5. And then there's a chunk of all-stars, so we'll say like 15. And then the rest of the NBA is role players.
And there's nothing wrong with being a role player. Yeah. Role players get rings.
Yeah, role players get rings. Role players make a lot of money. Role players donate to their universities. Like, it's just... I gotta realize that, man. Like, it's just is what it is, man. Like, nobody's saying that. Like, Alex Caruso, he's a role player, got him a championship ring. Was a star.
Will Obi have a better NBA career than Alex Caruso?
This guy. Here we go.
I'm just asking. Will Obi Toppin have a better NBA career than Alex Caruso?
Is Obi about to play with LeBron?
He could potentially play with Steph and Clay.
Oh, well, then it's on.
Just like in the NFL, where you go matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that, the Warriors would be great. Everyone's saying, I want him to go to Cleveland. You want him to go to Cleveland because it's close by. Him going to Cleveland would be horrible.
If you truly want what's best for Obi, you want him to go to Golden State, Atlanta, Chicago.
Why Chicago?
They're going to be running. They're going to be a running team.
Billy Donovan's there. He has the relationship with Anthony Grant, of course.
They're going to be an up and down team. Even Charlotte for that matter. Teams that push the ball, that's going to display his athleticism to its fullest. You don't want a team that actually, quote unquote, runs plays. Like, Cavs were a very slow paced team in the NBA.
That's a guard centric team too. Yeah. By the way, I see that they're having issues with Drummond. Drummond wants he's going back and forth. They're saying, look, we know you have a value, but it's a guard-oriented league. That was my point about Obi. I wasn't taking a shot at Obi. The point is that the ball kid, there's a lot of guards that are going to be, the swing guys. That, I don't know. Obi's going to be good. There's no Zion Williamson in this draft.
Right.
Not even close. Nothing close.
If you're wanting Obi to play with Colin Sexton and Gilliard or whatever his name is, he ain't going to see the ball too often.
Garland,
yeah.
So, again, selfishly, Cleveland, great. 3 hours away. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Super. But that's where the pros to going to play in Cleveland stop as far as that's concerned. But Golden State, you'll never get to see him play unless they do come to Cleveland when they come to Cleveland. But, yeah,
I mean, those highlights.
Where he goes matters. You're right. Atlanta playing with Trae Young, that's huge. He'll thrive there. He'll thrive with the Warriors. Spacing is going to matter there.
Shoot, even Dallas. Granted,
Dallas don't have a draft pick that high.
Hey, great. I'm just saying, teams like that.
First-round pick. Trade a first-round pick.
Teams of that ilk that get up and down the floor and have a very good point guard that's going to get you the ball where you want it. I mean, me and my brother have this debate all the time about the Showtime Lakers and the importance of guys on the Showtime Lakers. And obviously Magic Johnson was the most important player, but he swears up and down that James Worthy was like, oh man, all this and all that. And I say, hey man, James Worthy wouldn't be James Worthy without Magic Johnson, because Magic Johnson was putting it right in the pocket every time. When you got a great point guard like that, and when you're playing with great point guards like a Luka, like a LeBron James,
Luka,
he's getting you the ball where you want the ball when you need the ball so you can score. That's what great players do. There's great players, all-stars, role players, and scrubs. Like
there you go. Don't throw me in there. Hey, I played with the Harlem Globetrotters, man. Have you played with the Harlem Globetrotters? I don't think so.
No.
You're right, though. There's always different categories. There's LeBron James, the GOAT. And then there's Michael Jordan. And then there's everybody else. All right, folks, we'll be back in a moment. Hour 3 next. Let's talk some college football. Let's talk about the Big Ten perception versus the perception of all the other conferences out there. How come Georgia can lose by double digits and get blown out against Alabama? They only drop back one spot. When Wisconsin and Penn State last year got blown out by number 1 Ohio State, they dropped all the way out of the top 10. We'll discuss next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
O'Reilly. It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. That means you can get up to a $25 gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of your Superstart battery. Return power, performance, and reliability to your car, truck, motorcycle, and more with Superstart batteries. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
911, what's your emergency?
There's a train that just hit a car.
Sir, what is your location? Look around for a street sign, sir.
It's 8th and Orchard. 8th and Orchard.
Okay, very good. 8th and Orchard. Sir, help is on the way.
Why would you do that? The train still doesn't stop. You have to get there now.
At a railway crossing, even if the engineer sees you and hits the brakes, it can take a mile for the train to stop. And for you, that's too late. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
Cleanings, checkups, and cavities? Have Dr. Chang's dental practice at capacity.
Patient in room 1 is getting a root canal. The x-rays in room 2 are going to have to wait. We're down to 1 hygienist.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Walgreens has always been there to help make your healthcare easier. From making sure you have the prescriptions you need to answering any questions you have about them. Now, the question is whether you have the right Medicare plan. And we're here to help make that easier too. Walgreens can save you money and peace of mind with copays as low as $0. Visit walgreens.com/Medicare today to see how. Walgreens, we make Medicare easy. $0 copay on Tier 1 generic drugs when enrolled in a plan with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy.
Election Day is just around the corner, and once again, Ohioans have 3 good choices for how to vote. Polls will be open on November 3rd, and early in-person voting is available through November 2nd. You can also request and cast an absentee ballot from the convenience of your own home. No matter which method you choose, you can be confident that your vote is secure and your voice will be heard. Let's vote, Ohio. Go to voteohio.gov for voting locations and hours. Sponsored by Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose, aired by the OAB and this station.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from The Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro Painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I have had CertaPro Painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State-themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro Painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time, they get the job done right and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro Painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Oktoberfest at Milano's has begun. We're serving our once-a-year favorites like schnitzel sandwiches and German pizza. Get it to go or stay for the games with NFL Sunday Ticket. See you at Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps for big screen football.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. No-touch freight, home daily lanes. Earn up to $270 per day, $2,000 sign-on bonus. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Apply online, CordellTransportation.com.
Give your walls a fresh new look with Dutch Boy DuraClean interior paint from Menards and get 11% off. DuraClean is a paint and primer in one with a beautiful look that's washable, scrubbable, stain resistant, and stays clean. Right now, all Dutch Boy paint is 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through October 24th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities, and the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Ask for it at Advanced Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations.
It's time for Straight Talk, just like football. You want the best coverage with your wireless network without your wallet taking a hit? Straight Talk Wireless gives you the same nationwide coverage as the big carriers, America's best networks, for up to 50% less. Just $45 a month for 25 gigs of high-speed data than 2G with an unlimited plan. No contract, no mystery fees. Don't get sidelined by weak protection. Get Straight Talk Wireless. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Cleveland State women's basketball coach Chris Kilsmeyer, COVID survivor.
I was fatigued, just like every other basketball coach in March, but didn't think about getting sick. I woke up one night with the worst pains and chills I'd ever experienced. I tested positive for coronavirus and immediately self-quarantined. I got worse and worse and checked into the hospital. Multiple times I said, I don't want to die. We know what works. We know how to fight this, but it's going to take all of us doing the right thing every single day.
Sponsored by the Ohio Hospital Association.
Try Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that blow the butterscotch out of your grandma's bowl. Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
O'Reilly. Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with peak long life universal premixed antifreeze and coolant. On sale now for just $5.99 after mail-in rebate. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You have empty office space to fill. You know what you need, and you know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places that what you need and what you'd like, that might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half price and below manufacturer suggested prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really. Desks from $50 to $5,000. File cabinets, $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Outlet. With 87,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. 2 locations. One at 23 McOil Street, Dayton. The other, Uniques Unlimited on South Dixie. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. Saturday, 10 to 4.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is getting up to use the bathroom at the stadium.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Excuse me? You mind if I just squeeze by here?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Fall is in the air. Fall projects are on the list, and the Home Depot is ready with more ways than ever to help. Use our mobile app to search, shop, and save. Choose flexible delivery options that bring everything you need right to your door. And if you need tools for a project, but not forever, you can rent them. You won't find a better toolbox anywhere else. Take on fall and fall projects now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Making it easier for you to get the frickin' chicken. Remember Frickers.com. That puts you in touch with everything you crave. Frickin' chicken wings, burgers, ribs, salads, wraps, everything you crave. Should you crave an ice-cold domestic draft beer? Join us and dine in. We have a 48-ounce personal pitcher for only $6. Dine in, carry out, delivery, and now order online at Frickers.com. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is the home to order online at Frickers.com.
Remember, customize and save with Liberty Mutual Insurance Company. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hi, it's Mike Greenberg letting you know to stay tuned at 3 o'clock later today for the Justin Kinner Show. You can also stream the show live at WINGAM.com.
College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio. 1410 WINGAM.
Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
We are Dayton's ESPN radio station. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Wednesday. I hope everyone's had a great day. Let's talk about college football. We haven't talked enough Browns today. We might get into some more Brown stuff coming up here around the corner. Joke. We talked about this lightly yesterday, but the AP poll, the updated AP Top 25 poll was released, and not like there's nothing really shocking in this thing other than, somehow Ohio State played so well over the weekend that they moved up a spot. Cincinnati played so poorly last weekend that they moved down a spot. For no reason. Cincinnati didn't play a game. They moved down a spot. Ohio State didn't play a game. They moved up a spot. Penn State didn't play a game. They moved up a spot. Unreal. I just don't get it. No rhyme or reason. But these polls never make sense. But they're, of course, centerpiece for conversation. So that's where we're going to start here. Every year, Kev, I don't know about you, but I really get annoyed when I always hear the SEC bias. In fact, we're about to enter the SEC bias season because the college football playoff polls are going to be coming out here, down the road. But that's, to me, always the SEC bias season. Of course, they have that SEC bias. ESPN, even though the College Football Playoff Committee has nothing to do with ESPN. ESPN is just where the games are held, or ESPN is just who carries the games. It has nothing to do with that. It's amazing to me, Kev, how often I hear people say, "Oh, the SEC bias." It's a bias. It's not because Alabama's good and wins a lot of national championships. It's just because, it's the SEC bias, It's not because Georgia, from 24/7 Sports Composite, actually there's more talent on this roster, according to 24/7 Sports. I heard Joe Klatt talking about this earlier today, that maybe that's why they got the benefit of the doubt, even after getting their asses kicked by Alabama. Very strange. So I bring this up because it was interesting. Yesterday we talked about how, Ohio State, they blew out Wisconsin last year. The Penn State score, it felt, whatever. You proved me wrong on that. Whatever. It's that type of week for me. But like when Penn State loses to Ohio State, we don't say, "Oh man, Penn State." That's tough for them. But we just say, "Oh, they suck." If they lose to Ohio State, it's not because they played a really good team. It's just, okay, well, they're not for real. They're out of the equation. When Wisconsin loses to Ohio State, that just means it's not that they're not good. It just means that they're not for real. So we just put them off to the back burner. Mm-hmm. When SEC teams lose to other SEC teams, we talk about, oh, well, they just have a tough schedule. Last year, Wisconsin was 6-0. Wisconsin was number 6 in the country. They get blown out by Ohio State, who was ranked number 4. Wisconsin drops all the way back to number 13. Mm-hmm. Number 6 loses to number 4, gets blown out. Drops all the way back to number 13, which I don't have a problem with when you get blown out. Penn State was number 4 in the country and undefeated, 8-0, when they lost to Ohio State last year, who was number 1 at the time. The first college football playoff poll that came out had 2 Big Ten teams in it. Ohio State blows out Penn State. Penn State drops back 5 spots all the way to number 9. Okay? How is it? And if you say they played close, then fine. Even if we're playing close, but your laugh did. So, but that's besides the point. The point is that Penn State still dropped back like a ton for just losing. When Big Ten teams lose, it's because they suck.
Right.
When SEC teams lose, nothing happens. Georgia, number 3 in the country, loses to number 2 Alabama. They get blown out. They looked horrible. The gap between them and Alabama was significant. It was obvious. They drop back 1. So is this SEC bias? Is this what is this exactly? I think I'm going to say this when we talk about what the SEC bias is, Kev, it really to me always comes down to, I don't believe in biases. I believe it's a respect factor. I think the SEC gets more of the benefit of the doubt because they're the better conference. 4 spots isn't a ton. David Shaw, it is whenever Georgia loses by 20-some points and they drop back 1. You see what I'm doing here, but you got to argue everything. It never fails. I say it's raining outside. That ain't rain. 4 spots is a lot for Penn State, who you said played them close. Georgia gets their ass kicked by Alabama, and they drop back 1. Is it a bias or a respect thing? I don't think the Big Ten's respected. As much as we like to say, we like to talk about the Big Ten is one of the best, most respected conferences out there. I don't think it is. It's not that I don't think it's good. I don't think that it's respected. I don't care what. This isn't a debate about how good the Big Ten is. I think it does come down to a respect issue. It is not I don't think there's a bias. The SEC is looked at as the better conference. I think it is the better conference, and I think it deserves that title. The Big Ten, outside of Ohio State, Kevin, I've talked about this for years, how Ohio State has separated itself from that conference. I do believe that's why when you see a Penn State or a Michigan State's down right now, but you see my point, a Penn State, a Wisconsin, whatever, when they lose, they get they're not for real treatment. But when Georgia loses or an LSU loses, we start coming up with all of these bullet point excuses for, but they're playing at Florida. But they're playing at Alabama. But. There is no but in the Big Ten. It's you lose, you suck. Like we do this all the time. Penn State, well, they could make the college football playoff, but they got to beat Ohio State. And if they don't, they have no shot. So they're
the problem with Penn State is not only that they lose to Ohio State, it's that they lose that game prior to Ohio State. Like last year, they lost to Minnesota before they even played Ohio State. In years past, they've lost to Michigan State. Matter of fact, they lost to Michigan State after the week before they played Ohio State. So I think that's like when Penn State loses to Ohio State, then they're done because they've already lost 1 game already. So then like they're irrelevant after that. Like I truly believe that every team basically still can lose 1 game. Like you and I kind of like disagree about Florida and Georgia. they're still in the driver's seat because they still have a matchup versus each other. As long as one of them goes undefeated the rest of the way into the SEC championship game and they beat whomever they play, probably Alabama, in the SEC championship game, they'll be in the college football playoff. So I don't necessarily think it's one loss that kills you. It's that second loss. And for the last couple of years, Penn State has taken that first loss early, rattled their way back up to the top 10, then taking that additional loss to Ohio State, which knocks them out. As for as for Wisconsin, it's the eyeball test for them. Many people won't buy into Wisconsin because it looks like the 1995 Cowboys. It is ground and pound. And in this era of college football where it's people running 90-yard touchdowns, people going over the top, passing happy, and all these spread offenses, and they're lining up under center, ground and pound, people just don't believe in that. And then once they go up against a team that can shut that type of offense down in Ohio State, that's why people don't believe in it anymore. Like, you can't play like that and win a national championship. I don't care how good you are up front. I don't care how many offensive linemen you put in the NFL. I don't care how many running backs break the NCAA rushing record and you put in the NFL. Ultimately, you're not going to win a national championship running that style of offense. So I think when people watch Wisconsin lose to Ohio State in the fashion that they do, and then you watch Penn State basically, get upset before they even play the big team on their schedule, people are over them. The Big Ten is a 3.5 team conference. Ohio State, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And we can show Minnesota some love too. But
no. Where's Minnesota done?
Didn't they win their bowl game? Didn't they beat
bowl game? You mean the exhibition games?
Oh God, here you go. Well, I think they were what they were like, I want to say 11-1, 11-2 maybe last year.
Aw, little cute Gophers. Then why didn't they get more? You lost 2. Good, great teams, playoff caliber teams don't lose 2. No, so I bring all that up because I'm looking at that. And then David Shaw, of course, not understanding what we're talking about here. I'm actually saying I'm fine with Georgia dropping back only 1. Because I think when you look at Penn State and others, like, they're not getting that respect that Georgia and them do, because Georgia plays in the SEC. The SEC, again, is a situation where, they're getting that respect. It's not a bias. It's a respect. The conference is better. The teams are better. Outside of Ohio, if you take Ohio State out of the Big Ten, the Big Ten's not that good. You take Alabama out of the SEC keeps rolling. Is it as dominant without Alabama? No. But it doesn't take a nosedive. It doesn't become the Pac-12 because Alabama comes out. You take Ohio State out of the Big Ten, and all of a sudden, it's not a good conference. It's really, really not, as far as that is concerned. That's just my opinion. It's a good enough conference for Ohio State to get good quality wins in. But there you go. Yes, I can't understand anything because I don't agree with you. Please. No, you don't, because you're making stupid arguments that have nothing to do with what we're saying. You're going to be aggressive with me. I'm going to be aggressive back. Like, it really comes down to that as far as that's concerned. When you go on to say, I talk about how last year we saw 2 examples where teams lose to a good Ohio State team and they get dropped back, 4 or 5 plus spots. But we see Georgia get blown out by a good, top 4 team and they drop back 1. That's the difference. And Shaw, you could sit there and point out, look at the rankings. If the Big Ten was playing, the Big Ten still sitting in the top 10 everywhere. Georgia, you mean to tell me, like, Ohio State, if they were playing games, Georgia was still only going to drop back 1. I got to be honest. I got to be perfectly honest. I haven't paid too much attention to the rankings simply because the Big Ten isn't playing right now. Do you think them only falling back 1 spot has anything to do with the rest of the conferences not playing? I mean, you could sit there and say, well, who else would you put there? But again, Ohio State. So if Ohio State and Penn State were playing, would Penn State all of a sudden shoot up to number 4 and Ohio State be at number 3? Because you can't put Ohio State can't pass Alabama or Clemson. You just can't right now. Maybe after you beat Penn State, you could entertain it. But Alabama has that season. They have the best win on the year. No one has a better win than they do. They, you could even argue that they should be number 1. Clemson somehow doesn't play. They put 70 up on Georgia Tech or whoever it was, and they got 54 first place votes. It's the most amount of votes they've ever had in any single poll. Alabama barely got any love at all for beating the highest ranked team that anyone's beat this year up until this coming point. So it's going to be interesting when the Big Ten does come back, how that's going to work. But once Ohio State beats Penn State in week 2, there is no more Big Ten teams in the race. Wisconsin, they could go undefeated. They might flirt with it. But we saw a situation a few years ago where Wisconsin was undefeated in the regular season. They got to the Big Ten championship game. There was a lot of talk that game. Ohio State ultimately won. They did not make the playoff. No, was that the year they made the play? Either way, it was the year they lost to Clemson, the time before last. So when they beat Wisconsin, there was talk that even if Wisconsin would have been undefeated and a Big Ten champion, they probably still weren't good enough to make the college football playoff as far as that's concerned. So that's interesting as far as that goes. But one thing Kevin and I had talked about conferences, and of course I'm getting this sent into that's COVID rankings, and there's no way that the SEC, Justin, you're full of course they have to cuss and swear. You're full of blank. The Big Ten is better than the SEC. You have your ESPN blinders on. I don't really work for ESPN. I work for Wing AM in Dayton. So I appreciate the extra love you're giving me, but there is no blinders on. I thought everybody knew as far as that's concerned.
I will say about rankings. Rankings are based on what happens throughout the week. And another reason they could possibly only drop back one spot was because nobody's playing each other. Other teams move up based off who they play and who they lose to. So the juggling from week to week is all based around who else is playing, who else is winning, who else is losing. Since we have this crazy COVID year, the amount of games aren't happening. It's a difficult thing to jump a team or drop a team so many spots because we don't know what other teams look like. I know some teams have went up in the polls without even playing a game. It's weird. That's all I can say. This whole situation is weird, and it's going to even be weirder because you know what? I know you and I and everybody else in Big Ten country is excited because Big Ten kicks off on Friday, but guess what? There's going to be another influx of teams once the Pac-12 kicks off. I know everybody just looks at the Pac-12. They ain't got nothing to do with this. They suck, this, that, and the third. But more teams equals more rankings, equals more juggling. So it's going to be very interesting how the college football playoff actually decides who's going to be those top 4 teams.
Let's say Ohio State was playing at this point, and the Big Ten was playing at this point. Georgia still deserved to be in the top 4. Because we're going to be doing our top 10 here in the next couple of weeks.
What about Keith Byers' top 10?
Is Georgia top 4 still?
If everybody's playing?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Who would you put ahead of them?
I mean, I guess I really can't say who because I don't know who would have played, when, how, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, we do. We do know. We do know that no team, even with Georgia losing, is going to be better than Georgia. The only teams better than Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. As far as of right now. Notre Dame, Penn State,
I would love
Wisconsin,
to see them play.
I mean, we all would, but there's only 8 games in the regular season for the Big Ten.
That's what I'm saying. This wacky, crazy year is a very difficult thing. Like I can't say it for certain. Like and that's why I was a proponent of not even putting teams that haven't even played in the rankings yet. Like be on standby, like you're waiting on an airplane. Because you haven't taken off yet. Until you play, we don't know. I know this isn't good radio, but I'm not a fan of preseason polls. But
these are real polls. These are based on what we've seen right now.
Yeah, and some of those teams we haven't seen play yet, including Ohio.
But
State.
we have seen Georgia. So yes. I don't mind them dropping back. Like they should not have dropped out of the top 4 even with that loss because we still know they're one of the top 4 teams. Like college football, even with the Big Ten coming back, like Cincinnati, they're going to take a huge hit with the Big Ten coming back. Hell, they didn't even play this Saturday and they still moved back a spot. Right. Florida, you talked about how they can kind of sneak back in this too. They had a big game with LSU that was postponed. That game was bigger for Florida than it was LSU, who already has 2 losses. Florida needing another top 25 game on that schedule. Of course, LSU's out of that top 25, but again, a big win over LSU carries a lot of weight, regardless, because we go back to the conference respect thing, not bias, conference respect as far as that goes. But who we have on hold? 457.
We got Keith on the line.
Keith, how are you, sir?
Hey, how you guys doing? And thank you very much for taking my call. And, when I'm, not really busy, I like to listen to you guys because, you guys are very helpful, educational. So thank you again. But my thing is this, there's variable factors involved. And it hasn't played out yet, and I think that one is the eye test, and another one is money talks. So basically, they're going to try to see how they can make money and who's going to be the best 4 teams at the end in the national playoffs. But let's start off with the easy one. I sense, and I'm not trying to say anything bad, but Notre Dame, I don't think they're supposed to be number 3. And they've been doing this several years, when they went to the national playoffs, they just got proven that they didn't belong there. So, they're number 3. So I don't think maybe they should be like number 8 or 7. Or,
are you basing just that because they only put 12 up against Louisville? I mean, is that why you're saying that?
I'm just saying is, what was their score? 7,
12-7. Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's not really, just like you were talking about, Cleveland and Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati. Well, anyway, so I don't lose track because I'm busy, but I just don't believe in them as a top number 4.
And that's fair. I don't think a lot of people, believe in Notre Dame right now. I think Notre Dame is being propped up right now because we're really hoping for a big top 10, top 5 matchup between Clemson and.
So, that might be, or they can sell, a lot of beers and pizzas and stuff like that, or I don't know. So let me just say this too. So I do believe what you said is true. Georgia Bulldogs, they're a fighting team, and they could have maybe, if they were thinking right or doing right, they could have probably had a chance to beat Alabama. One day is a good day, next day is a bad day. So, but then if you want to flirt with teams, like at the beginning, they had Ohio State rated number 2, and we haven't played any teams yet. So that's why they have to put them number 5. Because like I said to you last time, Ohio State's a great team. They can't.
We don't know. They haven't played anybody.
So let me finish. I apologize. Forgive me for talking like this, but there's some teams out there that can be looked at. Like at the beginning of the year, they rated Oregon Ducks like number 8 or number 9. Let's see when they start playing teams how good they look and how they pass the eye test. So there's and when you said. I don't look as Ohio State is supposed to take Penn State or Wisconsin or Michigan lightly, because those are good teams. If you don't take a team lightly, you can be defeated. So it's not like there are no teams. They could be a good fighting team. And if they come in a day when they're fighting like hell, they can win a game. So I just think there's teams out there that have a right to be in the top 10, not just Alabama or Clemson.
Yep.
Or Oregon Ducks. So what do you want to say? Because I'll listen to you.
No, and thank you for the call. No, you bring up a good point, not taking teams lightly. That's the one thing that Ryan Day has been able to implement with this team, is that one thing we did see mental lapses with Ohio State when Urban Meyer was here. They sometimes didn't seem ready to play against the non-primetime, the non-big teams. One thing with Ryan Day last year, you could just tell. It didn't matter who was on the schedule. They were coming out ready to punch him in the mouth as far as that's concerned. All right, folks, we'll be back in a moment. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kevin Nash next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Report 3. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with a high near 68. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with patchy fog, a low around 58. And tomorrow will be mostly sunny and hazy with a high near 80. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World. The year is 2019, and someone is waiting for the previews to start in a movie theater.
Hey, you want anything? Popcorn? Soda? No, nothing.
This has been The Sounds of the Old World. Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
O'Reilly.
This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Have you played Turtle Creek Golf Course yet? Formerly Greenville Country Club, Turtle Creek has local, state, and national recognition for excellence. They also have some world-class facilities, like the famous Thirsty Turtle Lounge, a full-service restaurant and bar with seating for up to 200 guests. Come try the Turtle's famous chicken wings, or Fish Fridays, Steak Saturdays, or Sunday brunch. Learn more at www.turtlecreekon36.com. Turtle Creek Golf Course and the Thirsty Turtle Lounge. Great food, great golf, and a great experience.
Oktoberfest and football are at Milano's. Bavarian pretzels, German beers, schnitzel, and more. Come in and watch the game or get it to go. All carry-out beers are 25% off every day at Milano's Pizza, Subs, and Taps.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from The Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro Painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I have had CertaPro Painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State-themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro Painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time, they get the job done right and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro Painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to assist veterans during this COVID-19 pandemic. Even though we are not meeting face-to-face, we are here for you. We understand it is a difficult time with this virus threat and the strain of implementing social distancing. For those Montgomery County veterans who have lost their source of income due to their employers having to close or reduce their business hours due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you may be eligible for COVID-19 special financial relief assistance. Please contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday for more information or to have an application sent to you. You can also visit mcvsc.org. The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to help Montgomery County veterans during the COVID-19 crisis. Call 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday or visit them online at mcvsc.org.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. No-touch freight, home daily lanes, earn up to $270 per day, $2,000 sign-on bonus, medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Apply online, CordellTransportation.com.
John McManus is running hard to be our Montgomery County Treasurer. Montgomery County is already one of the highest tax counties in the state. It seems like every day we're being told to pay higher and higher taxes. Now, in the middle of a pandemic, we're told to get ready for another tax increase next year. When John McManus was vice president of the largest school board in Montgomery County, he fought against property tax increases. As our next county treasurer, he'll stand with us again. This November, vote John McManus for Montgomery County Treasurer.
I'm John McManus, and I approve this message.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Smoothbrook, Illinois.
You like your burger medium well, your peanut butter crunchy, and your mattress firm. It's the little things that make you, you. And you deserve a Medicare plan that fits your unique needs. That's why United Healthcare is offering more plan options than ever, so you can find just the right plan for you. Call 1-800-362-8715. That's 1-800-362-8715 to get Medicare with more. Remember, Medicare annual enrollment ends December 7th.
Try Canada Dry Bold Ginger with an extra kick of real ginger taste that blow the butterscotch out of your grandma's bowl. Canada Dry Bold Ginger, not your grandma's ginger ale.
Hey, who wants free money? Who are we kidding? We all do. It's the ESPN Dayton hashtag We Want to Get Paid Cash Contest. Listen for the word that wins 18 times a day, starting at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. Enter the keyword at wingam.com for your chance to win $1,000. It's the ESPN Dayton hashtag We Want to Get Paid Cash Contest. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Did Zeke have fumbling issues at Ohio State? No. What's going on in the Big D?
Man.
Maybe it's the bread basket that's getting a little bigger there for him. He used to wear those cutoff shirts because he actually had abs. He don't have abs anymore, so I think the ball just there's a cushion there in his belly that the ball's bouncing off of that wasn't there when he was at Ohio. He used to have abs. Now he has a little bread shelf there, and the ball's bouncing off of it. I have no clue what's going on in Dallas with Zeke, and can't blame the offensive line when you're dropping you're the one dropping it. It ain't no Dak Prescott. It ain't Andy Dalton. Zeke Elliott got his money. I was adamant he should not get the money because a running back should not get that much money, and he has not produced at all since signing that contract. But I'm not going to put all that on Zeke because there's obviously a lot more issues going on in Dallas as far as that is concerned. So NFL news, I found this interesting right here, that the Seahawks are one of many teams looking at Antonio Brown. This comes from ESPN's Adam Schefter. With Antonio Brown's suspension eligible to end after Week 8, the Seahawks are now positioned to make a push to sign him, though they're not alone. So I keep laughing at what's considered breaking news nowadays because I get on ESPN, it says breaking news. Seahawks, one of many teams pursuing Antonio Brown. That's not breaking news. I think it was Bucknuts or something earlier. No, it's 24/7 Sports put out breaking news. Joe Klatt said Buckeyes are going to be good. Really? That. I mean, man, you're going for the hard-hitting news today. I tell you, I have no clue. Breaking, what is considered breaking news? So both the Seattle's quarterbacks are going to talk about Russell Wilson, Geno Smith. They're friends with Antonio Brown, and they've worked out with him during the offseason. They've remained in touch. I am, confused here in regards to the teams that he's working out with. I don't think are his best fits. You've been adamant that you believe he could potentially end up in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think that's the one that makes the most sense as far as that goes. Lamar Jackson, Baltimore's doing everything they can right now to try to keep him from running and being as reckless as what he was last year. They got away with him being reckless last year. He goes on to have an MVP season. Even though if that's what works, you still don't want to, have him out there recklessly running around, especially when they're ahead a lot of times in games. I am surprised. Now, this article does not go on to list the other teams that are involved. That's why I also find this article interesting. One of many teams, so you don't list the teams. You would have to think Baltimore is one. I saw someone on the page say, you were wrong. It's not Baltimore. It's Seattle. Seattle's one of many, and I'm pretty sure Baltimore is one of the teams. Baltimore was one of the teams talking to him in the offseason. Mm-hmm. There was video and tape of Lamar and him throwing the football and working out in the offseason, as well as him and Russell Wilson.
Right.
I don't blame teams for giving him a shot. I think he should get another shot. Yeah. I think his next shot will be his last one if the off-the-field woes, again, take over. I think the off-the-field issues he had in New England stemmed from how he left Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Or technically, where did he go after Pittsburgh? The Raiders. So I think there was already off the field issues going on during that transition period. It's not like he was a problem with the Patriots, or he wasn't a problem for the Patriots. He just happened to have some problems that stemmed back to his previous team after going to the new team. You know what I mean? Like they were talking about how in New England they had him buttoned up. They had him, he seemed to be, mentally focused. He was living with Tom Brady. He was playing for Bill Belichick. And when you play in that type of environment, it's easier to get buttoned up. You just feel like you have more adults around you. Are there enough adults in Seattle? When you have Russell Wilson as your quarterback, one of the ultimate leaders in all of football, I feel very confident that's the case. I'm not going to put Lamar in that category as Russell Wilson yet, just because Lamar's pretty young in the league. He's only year 3. We forget that. Joe Burrow's older than Lamar Jackson.
Right.
That's crazy to me when you think about that, as far as that's concerned. I like Antonio Brown. Outside of Seattle and Baltimore, where else makes sense for Antonio Brown?
Maybe Green Bay. Maybe another weapon for the cheap for Aaron Rodgers. Maybe there. We talk about his landing spots. For me, it just screams the Ravens for so many reasons. Him and Lamar, both from Miami. His younger cousin, Hollywood Brown, plays for them. And the biggest factor is he will be able to play the Steelers twice. And I believe nothing in the world would make him feel better than to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers after that relationship ended. Then you look at Seattle, playing with Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, gives them another weapon. And they're going to need all the weapons they can get because their defense is suspect in Seattle. But then we think about maybe Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, that bad man, Aaron Rodgers. He's been playing pretty good with this tight end. Who is this tight end that he's been throwing to? I don't know his name. It's like a lot of dudes that I just don't know their names now. But they got a good tight end, obviously. They got Adams. They got the running back Jones. But Aaron Rodgers and AB seems pretty scary to me.
Well, the Saints wanted Antonio Brown last year heading into the playoffs. They were kicking the tires on that as far as that is concerned.
Flew him in for a workout in the whole 9.
And that's back when Michael Thomas was healthy, and they thought they were going to have that 1-2 punch of Michael Thomas and Antonio Brown. I don't know why the Saints would not revisit that. How about a team like, I'm going to go the AFC East, and I'm not talking about the Patriots, Buffalo. They need a surge. They need something to kind of give them that. They have Stephon Diggs.
Josh Brown.
That would be interesting. I wouldn't. If I'm Buffalo, I'd kick the tires on it. You've seen now, Cleveland's in the same situation as Buffalo. Buffalo and Cleveland, 2 very good starts. I mean, you're 4-2, 2 very good starts. But Buffalo, very similar to Cleveland, feels like the air has been let out of their sails because the only 2 legit teams they've played, they've got punched in the mouth. Same thing with Cleveland. You're 4-2, everything's fine, but it doesn't feel fine because it's like, man, the measuring sticks that we have on our schedule, we're not measuring up. Buffalo's not measuring up Cleveland. And I'm not Antonio Brown, Cleveland. No, that's not what I'm talking about. How Buffalo they need that surge, they need that jolt.
Right.
The jolt for Cleveland that I talked about earlier was Matt Ryan.
Right.
Whatever. Buffalo, it could be Antonio Brown. Another team in the AFC East. How about the Miami Dolphins? You just announced that Tua Tagovailoa is your starter. You have a bye week. When Tua comes back, you'll have it, it'll be, after the bye week, that'll be his first start. Why not? If you're the Dolphins, but, go all in. You're 3-3. You're ahead of where you thought. Buffalo is not as good as what we thought. Or at least that's what we think now, right? Because they seem a little wobbly. I still think they're pretty good. Defense, offense, I think they're set. If I'm Buffalo or the Dolphins, I knock on his door heavily.
Yeah, I could see. But we also have to think about Antonio Brown's mindset. Is his mindset, I'm going to the highest bidder, or I'm going in to try to win a championship?
Shaw says the Rams. That's not a bad spot. There's a lot of good suitors out there. There is. Seattle just seems the most random to me because everyone can use an upgrade at receiver if you have a playmaking quarterback in the Seahawks too. But their issue comes on the defensive side. They need to address the defense. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do both, but from a money perspective, where are you going to stretch your resources to? If I'm the Seahawks, they get Antonio Brown, I don't look at them and say, oh, now they're for sure the Super Bowl favorites because their offensive line is not as good as what it's been, and their defense is pretty bad. So I'm not. If Antonio Brown goes there, I don't look at Seattle and say, "Oh, they're the Super Bowl favorites." I don't think that one little bit.
I think they're thinking if they get AB, they're going to the Super Bowl, and they think they got to match whatever KC does point for point.
fair. We see that in the NBA all the time. Teams don't sign free agents or draft to win their division. It's okay. I'm not trying to, if I want to win my division, fine, but I want to draft and sign players that are going to get me over that team when I get there. That was my Matt Ryan approach, by the way. If you want to keep Baker, fine. You can keep Baker, win games, be competitive in the division. But if you want to win games to the side of the season that counts, you got to look at Matt Ryan. So that's a good point as far as that's concerned. You get into playoffs, you may not be able to stop anybody, but you can score with anybody. And that's what, the Big 12 approach.
Hey.
So there's that. All right, folks, we'll be back in a moment. Any suggestions where you think Antonio Brown could end up? Who's a good suitor for Antonio Brown that we haven't mentioned? We'll be back in a moment.
Steelers?
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We've been expecting you. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
When I say Central Ohio's premier link-style golf course, what do you think of? It should be Windy Knoll Golf Club in Springfield. What used to be a world-class horse farm is now a stunning link-style golf course, complete with full-size steel horse sculptures and black rail fencing all around the course. And it's open to the public. Windy Knoll offers a challenge to golfers of all levels. Outstanding course conditions add to a truly exceptional golf experience. Get your friends together and come out and play at Windy Knoll Golf Club in Springfield.
Interested in helping Dayton students succeed? Don't miss the Dayton Public Schools Drive-Through Career Fair on Thursday, October 22nd between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. at Welcome Stadium. Masks are required. See the full list of positions and apply now at DaytonPublic.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your car insurance with Right Track, which rewards you for safe driving.
As the world's most careful driver, that's perfect. Now applying 2 pounds of force for acceleration.
You're really
turning in 0.3 miles and begin deceleration.
With Liberty Mutual's Right Track, you could earn up to 30% savings based on how you drive. Sign up at libertymutual.com/righttrack.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Discount on participating vehicles, base coverages only. Availability varies.
Let the gifting start with Kohl's lowest prices of the season. Prices so low, no coupons needed. Get Sonoma tops for her, only $7.99. Shoes for the family are $29.99 and under. And save on Toastmaster small appliances, just $9.99. Plus, get a little more for your wallet with Kohl's Cash. Plus, fast and free store pickup. It's the lowest prices of the season, Wednesday through Sunday at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Select styles, see store or Kohl's.com for details.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
After falling to the Los Angeles Lakers in the 1982 NBA Finals, the 76ers needed to find the right player to build the ultimate winning team. In September of '82, they acquired restricted free agent Moses Malone. They went on to rack up a 65-17 regular season record and followed that up with a 12-1 postseason record. Malone won the regular season and NBA Finals MVP award.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Adding a leader you need right when you need them. That's how sports teams get ahead and how your business can too. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interest, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to Pipestone Golf Club with a 4-star rating from Golf Digest and recognized as the best course to play. Pipestone is a favorite in the Miami Valley. The Arthur Hills design masterpiece is carved into the sweeping foothills and ancient oaks of southwestern Ohio. The course provides a quality challenge to golfers of all levels, and everyone is welcome. Be sure to call for a tee time, then bring your friends and play America's greatest game on a golf course that truly sets itself apart. Pipestone, a great golf experience.
Mike Foley is proud to serve as our Montgomery County Clerk of Courts, and he's asking for our vote again this November. Mike is a father, a U.S. veteran, and has been a small business owner for over 20 years. He's not a career politician, but a leader that gets things done. Mike Foley has saved taxpayers over $3 million in less than 2 years in office by running the clerk's office more efficiently. He truly brings the courthouse to the community. For all the right reasons, let's re-elect Mike Foley, Montgomery County Clerk of Courts.
This is Mike Foley, and I approve this message.
Champagne Dental, taking the fear out of dentistry.
Don't let your dental benefits go to waste. Most insurance benefits roll over in January, and what you don't use, you lose. Now is the time to make an appointment to maximize your insurance. Give Champagne Dental Group in Urbana a call at 937-653-8650 to get scheduled today, or visit online at champagnedentalgroup.org.
Champagne Dental, taking the fear out of dentistry.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works package and the Double Take Tire specials. Call today for your appointment, 937-419-8473 or 1-800-700-0050. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World.
The year is 2019, and someone is waiting for the previews to start in a movie theater.
Hey, you want anything? Popcorn? Soda? No, nothing.
This has been The Sounds of the Old World.
Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español? Hablo. It's hablo? It's hablo.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real life situations.
The app is so easy to use and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Audible now gives you thousands of audiobooks, podcasts, originals, and more, all in one place. The new Audible is your playlist for life. Download the Audible app to get started.
Buckeye fans, the season is finally here. No, for real this time. ESPN 1410 Wing AM is Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Join us for the season opener on Saturday, October 24th, when Ohio State welcomes in Nebraska. Every tackle, every touchdown, and every Buckeyes win. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kinner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
Back to the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, everybody, we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here as we wrap things up. Antonio Brown, again, will be eligible to make his return to the NFL. He'll be eligible to play immediately come week 9. A lot of teams out there, the Seahawks seem to be the favorite, or at least the team that's positioned themselves to be able to pursue him. But if I'm Antonio Brown, I don't know if I look at the Seahawks and say, oh, yeah, that's my best landing spot right there. I think if you go to Baltimore with that defense, that offensive line, though, you know, the quarterback, I think there are better situations out there. How about this one? If if he wants to win now, those are the teams that you're going to talk about. But if he wants to set himself up, how about the Houston Texans with Deshaun Watson? Mm-hmm. All right, Bill O'Brien's gone. He screwed that up. They lost Hopkins because of his inability to be able to get along with Hopkins. You can make up that start. You've seen the impact of losing a playmaker like Hopkins. Deshaun Watson, it's not like the same. Obviously, we know Hopkins out, or Deshaun out. But man, imagine Deshaun with him.
Yeah, be nice.
So I think that would be interesting. I mean, the Titans,
nice toy for the enemy when he shows up next season.
I don't think he's going there. I don't know. I just don't. It's just the gut feeling. I don't think that's where he goes. I wouldn't want now. If Antonio Brown's there, now you have that fire, that that playmaker. Now that offense looks sexy as far as that goes. I saw today the Houston Texans considering blowing things up, trading Watt and stuff too. I think I like when I think of the Houston Texans. To me, Watt is the face of that franchise. Watt's the most popular player on that roster.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind moving on from him and starting your bad defensively even with him right now.
Right.
He's been injury prone for years. If you could move on from him to get some draft picks, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Wow. I would try to move him, but I'm just not sure what you're going to get for him. I'm just not sure what people are going to be willing to give you for aged J.J. Watt.
How old is he? Is he that age?
J.J. Watt is got to be 32 years old at least.
Is that old for? See, I'm not good at deciphering what's considered old for different positions. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, But I think when you look at teams who are looking for, like, for one, how about Seattle? Seattle needs to stop worrying about. They have one of the best offenses in the NFL. They need to stop worrying about adding to it. They need to worry about defense. If I'm Seattle, I'm on the phone now trying to figure out how to get J.J. Watt.
J.J. Watt is 31.
Okay, so Ralph, you were in the ballpark. Pittsburgh, go get Watt. You have one Watt, not Wop, Watt.
We need an inside linebacker since Bush got hurt.
As far as that,
call up the Jets.
What about the Bears?
Not bad. Match him up on the other side of Khalil Mack.
Yeah, that pass rush is unbelievable for them too. By the way, 5-1. The Bears are just under the radar a little bit, but yeah, lots of potential suitors for Antonio Brown. I don't want Seattle, Arizona. Get on it. Have Hopkins and him.
Ooh.
Of course, you got to have Kyler Murray completing more than not. Like, he did play well, but you can't. He finished the night with 9 completions, and they still kicked Dallas's ass.
Yeah, I think that says more about the Cowboys than it does him.
This says a lot about the Cowboys. Folks, have a great night. We'll do this again tomorrow. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.